Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome to episode 4 of The Gamblers, our Traveler Pirates of Drinax campaign. And I would like to thank each and every one of you for hanging out with us during our technical difficulties. It was all me. Really, I think that's maybe not fair. I think it's really all the company that makes the software that I use to route all of my audio, which has updated some of them, but then not others, and then all of them, but then the updates were bad. So that has been, I just rewound to earlier versions of all of 3 different software pieces, and now it's working. So I'm happy to be here in a space where all of our audio is actually currently working, and I'm so sorry it took me so long, but we are here, and I'm happy to be here with my favorite players and a wonderful, wonderful audience. Thank you so much for sticking around with us as we play our amazing Traveler Pirates of Drinax campaign here on the Foxhole. And first things first, if you want to help us out, you can do that by watching the show.
And you've done it.
That's it. Or, you know, if you wanted to, you could also watch it on YouTube with the like and the subscribe and the comments. And we sometimes get the lovely comments. I have one that I'm probably going to just read out, but not just yet. Not at this moment, but soon. You can also give us tips or bits, and if you do that and you leave a message, I'll read it out at the end. You can also be one of our Patreons. We have a Patreon that's at Academic Foxhole, and that Patreon is awesome, and it all goes to pay for this cast who are insanely patient. You can also, if you like, we also have it's like $3, right? But we also have a sponsor tier, which is $200, which will pay for 4 cast members for 1 week. And for 1 show. And if you do such a thing, you get a special radio ad once a month and a special shout out, a special spot in our credits as thanks. And also we have a merch store, which is at Fourth Wall for Academic Foxhole. And while we are live, if you wanted to, you can first off buy your own amazing merch if you like. We've got great stuff. I love it. I have now figured out what the new merch is that will be a cast gift to all of my players, because that's really the only reason why I make merch is so I can give it to my players as a present. And I figured out the new one. I just haven't made it yet, but it's coming. So, you know, hang out. But also, if you wanted to, you can get something for yourself, or you can purchase something as a gift while we're live for a gift giveaway. And that's, I think, all of that sort of a thing, except I did want to read off this message that came in. This, Lindy wasn't here yet, but, you know, nonetheless, this was about, we have somebody, a brand new watcher, BBD121, who's watching from the very beginning. So is watching season 1 right now. And has a comment about Marduk, which in no way should make Terrica feel guilty. So the comment was, because we might have forgotten, you know, but it was simply, because they ran Marooned on Marduk, which that particular adventure, and said, oh, my Marooned on Marduk was pretty different. The Gambright, which was the creature, they were not psionic, and we all made a moving retreat to outside the city to get into a rescue shuttle. Then the locals began freaking out and didn't want to get into the shuttle, but we begged and pleaded to at least save the 12-year-old, which you all just abandoned to die. But this person, they saved them. We couldn't get the little girl Ekla back home because she had no idea where her home was from up in the sky. We ended up taking Ekla along and raising her, even as she resented us. Ekla finally went back home as a 16-year-old. She got tested as a scion and rolled a 9. She increased her language to 1 in order to function along in our journey. She had medic, engineer power, electronic comms, guns, gunner turret all at 1. The GM decided that she would learn pilot small craft at 0 and navigation at 2 in order to fulfill her dream of getting back home. Her ultimate epilogue was cashing out on Marduk with her bag of equipment that she picked up along the way and an air raft that she bought with her own money that she earned with us. The plucky 16-year-old took about a month, but finally found her way back home and became an interpreter to the officials at the Lowport, as well as a guide to fellow travelers on the ground and an advisor to village elders.
Oh.
Wow. Amazon pick up that shit.
Oh, man.
Right?
Wow.
That's so cool.
Oh.
Yeah, and
What
you
a
just
beautiful
abandoned them all to die.
journey.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say until we got there and killed everybody. So
Yeah.
we were after
That's
until.
right.
Kill everybody.
Different strokes for different folks. I'm just saying.
I'm sorry, this is the Pirates of Drinax, right? Not the heroes or the paladins of Drinax.
Not the
Great story. And you're,
This is what I'm
and
saying.
Hey,
you're
we are not the
wonderful
babysitters of
NPC.
Drinax, okay? We covered that before.
Yeah, that's right.
It's true. We're getting rid of those kids. And there was just a bit of a.
Thank you. We are. Yes. Thank you for reminding
Yeah.
me. Get rid of those kids.
Yep.
Hashtag get rid of those kids. Let's get that going.
Just get rid of them. If anybody peeks, I'm just checking my audio right now. I'll get it all taken care of. So, normally I give a nice question, but I'm not going to give you a question right now. We're going to just sort of jump in. I love the questions, but I'm not going to do it because I gave you a quote instead. So, when last we left off, it is still the first night of the arrival of the gambler on Drinax in the floating palace, and the entire crew were gathered there on the ship to perhaps have a lovely meal of Drinaxian food together. But before that could happen, Lord Rax, who came in, who is the admiral of the Star Guard and now one of two admirals on Drinax, came in and was like, "I have to talk to you all about some things." He wanted to inform Liege Terrica of the death of their father as well as their mother, although they already knew. But he didn't know that. But he also said to the Harlock that the Harlock was requested to have a dinner with Prince Harrick. And so the Harlock left to go and meet with the prince while the rest of the crew had a lovely, pleasant, in no way bad dinner with Lord Rax and had a lot of discussions. We learned a number of new things that we did not know before. Like we did not know. Well, okay, so Terrica learned that they were engaged. That was something they did not know. And that they were going to have well, they knew they were engaged, but they did not know that their fiancé was there and they were going to have a wedding tomorrow that they had agreed to, according to their mother. That was new. That was new. Surprise. Their mother sometimes was not always accurate about or did not care about consent. So
vital
consent.
No, just vital.
Just
Very vital.
Yeah. But that whole arrangement for marriage was sidetracked as we learned that Val and Terrica were already married, that they had gotten married sometime earlier. And it totally was not a lie that was said in the moment. That was a true thing. Absolutely true.
Yeah. This is great.
Yeah. Which made Rax treat Lord Terrica, because now as a married spouse to Liege Terrica, the person formerly known as Val, now Lord Terrica, is now a noble. They have to do the ceremony officially here. They're married, so of course it's legal, but there's tradition to take care of, and so that will have to happen as well before everything can be super, super official, but it is all done, although it's a lie, but don't worry about it. And as they were ready to just...
it was a duke, right?
A duke, an imperial duke. Not only an imperial duke, Caspian Hendrick, but also a duke whose mother mysteriously died, certainly not killed by Marymore for creepy reasons, and he now has taken her spot in the imperial moot, which is the Senate that elects the next emperor. And so, for example, if there were, because I mentioned this way back in season something or other, that in the Imperium they have the right of assassination, that if you are a noble and you assassinate the current emperor, you can then become the emperor. The moot has to vote for you, of course. But anyway, I'm sure none of that is important. And they're not going to just pick anybody. They would want to pick somebody who's like, legit, like perhaps the unknown and undiscovered actual child of the Emperor Terrica, which is what all of the paperwork that Marymore set up says. But I wouldn't even worry about it. It's fine. It's fine. I just don't even worry about it.
I almost forgot about that.
Oh, I didn't forget all the information that you all have squirreled away and have not looked at yet because you've been hiding it, but I haven't forgotten anything. Neither has other NPCs with evil designs. So, that's said.
Oh, no.
When we left off, in the future, so we're going to roll back a little bit, the Duke, Caspian Hendricks, has arrived at the ship in the evening on the first night of their arrival and has asked permission to board the Gambler so that he might meet his fiancée. And is currently just outside, and out of the entire crew, one person is freaking out. And it's not Terrica, weirdly enough. It is
So strange.
Quint, who's just freaking out for no reason that we could ever
Mostly
imagine.
internally.
No reason we can.
No reason. No reason.
No reason. No reasons.
But, yeah, no reasons. There's a song. Anyway, but let us roll back a moment to the Harlock, who has been sent to meet with... I think I can do this. To meet with Prince Hendricks. The Harlock. You know your way to the palace, but there's someone to escort you. A guard, who, of course, like everyone else here, is some sort of noble, who takes you through the labyrinthine floating palace to where the royal family stays. I'm just going to take you right over here for a moment so that I can show the audience our floating palace, in case they are so inclined to want to see it. So here's our floating palace. It's so lovely. And you were all off in the docks in that point 1. And you have to then go now to part 8, where number 8 is, which is where the palace is now, which is actually not very far from the ambassador wing, which is where the Rapenhausens, Lady and Lord Hill, and now presumably Liege and Lord Terrica will be staying or moving in, but that's neither here nor there. It's fine. I wouldn't worry about it. But you are sort of brought in to the royal palace. You have been here before. But when you were here before, you were not brought in. You were brought into the throne room. That is not where you are brought to now. I mean, there's the actual throne room is right in the center of the floating palace, but you're brought into where they stay, and not into the big hall. You're brought off to the side, into the quarters, to like a reception room. And when you arrive, I will just note we have a slideshow with our NPCs, inspired by Praxagor the Smophoria, who likes to make slideshows of NPCs. And I'm like, that's such a lovely idea. Let me also make a slideshow so that you can all see our peoples. But we do have an image of Prince Harrick. So as you are you're taken into like a sort of like a small, well, actually not that small, but compared to other large grand things, a sitting room. And in this sitting room, you see Prince Harrick. Prince Harrick is the eldest son of the 2 children of the king and queen of Drinax. The queen departed. May she rest in peace. King Oleb and Queen Zetienne the second. Face claim for Queen Zetienne is Michelle Yeoh, and for King Oleb is James Earl Jones. So you have to imagine their child being a mix of those two. And he is, he's actually like in his 50s, but they all take they take drugs. They look pretty good for their ages, is how that works out. The anagathics, which are the drugs that keep you quite young, are actually looked down upon in Zodani space. The Zodani are really into body acceptance, right? They are into accepting. They find it a sign of mental illness to get plastic surgery to look younger, to not accept that you're aging, yes, they're not into that. You know what I mean? Like, they're really into like, hey, be who you are, and if you are not who you are, they will, re-educate you, right?
Well,
Just a little bit of.
well, because also with the Zodani, like, they see what's on the inside anyway, so it's more about, you know, depth
Right.
of character
Yes.
slash other things.
Yes.
So to
Yes.
speak.
Yes. And he is he is newly awoken. It was 20 years ago that Asim was liberated from the Foundation, the sort of strange bureaucratic dictatorship that had been running it ever since the destruction of everything by the Aslan, who came in and just like bombed the whole area, just all these planets, just destroyed everything. And in the aftermath of that, the Foundation sort of took over Asim, and they were this creepy dictatorship of bureaucrats who had a prophecy. Well, it wasn't really a prophecy. It was more like a 1,000-year plan to make Asim the world power in the Reaches. There was a great plan. However, to fix that plan, everyone would need to sacrifice. All the people would need to sacrifice and work really hard and give up all of their labor in order to pull together as a group to have the 1,000-year plan. Now, the bureaucrats had really nice houses, though, but other people not so much. But it was a 1,000-year plan that also involved telling people who they would marry, and who would do what and do where. And uh, some people were not happy. Drinax liberated them, and now Asim is part of Drinax, the new kingdom of Drinax, with 2 planets, Drinax and Asim at the moment. But in that battle 20 years ago, he and his mother, the queen, were part of the forces that went to go and liberate, which were, by the way, not a lot of people, because there are only, 50,000 people on the floating palace, maybe 70,000 people on Drinax overall, so it's not like you had a huge military. But you do have tech level 16 technology, and nobody else does. So, sometimes that helps. Asim itself actually doesn't have a lot of people. It's like maybe 200,000 people on Asim. Most of the planets, many of the planets around here don't have a lot of people and are fairly depopulated after the destruction of the Aslan bombing all these planets, and before that, the old Sindalian Empire bombing lots of planets. Like, look, the Reaches are not doing well, is what I'm trying to say. But he himself was in a shuttle, and that shuttle exploded, was shot down, crashed. There was huge fire, and he was in that crash, was not doing particularly well. So he was brought back. The queen died in that fight. Tried to save some Asim civilians from forces. It was a whole thing, but he was brought back. She died. He was brought back, and he was in a coma. He was put into a medical coma, and he has stayed in that medical coma for the last 20 years. And about 9 months ago or so, something like that, he was taken out of his coma. Somewhere between 9 months and a year. It's not been that long. He was taken out of his medically induced coma because he was cured. And since then, very few people have seen him. He's been at a couple of sort of planetary functions, state functions, but generally speaking, he's been pretty not visible. And this is a very small floating palace full of everybody knowing each other, so not being visible is quite a feat. But the king floated that perhaps if all goes well and the Reaches are united, and that you might be able to marry Prince Harrick as a sign of the unification between, like an alliance between the Zodani and the Drinaxians, and that was very lovely. And now you're being called to meet the prince, who, when you see him, his skin is flawless, is what I would say. He looks quite youthful. He looks very healthy. He looks strong. He's quite handsome. Tall, sort of good jawline. He's, wearing his sort of noble colors. There are 2 guards, the one who brought you in and one that was inside. He's also wearing a metallic headband with circuitry on it that is just sort of like kind of like a wreath that he's just sort of wearing, and it's clearly sort of on. Would you like to make a roll for me?
Oh, I would love to make a roll.
Psionicology, education.
Okay. And education, you say?
Yes, please. Oh, nice. Yeah, yeah. That's no problem for you to know what that is. He is wearing a psionic shield. They're not super popular in Zodani space, and they're not particularly. The technology is it's high level technology to create one of these things.
I imagine in her time abroad, the Harlock would have seen these before, though.
Oh, but also as a Zodani, you absolutely know them. 100% you know them.
Sure.
You all know all of these things. Like you know stuff. You know if there are ways to block psionics, you know it. But also, sometimes you use them because, well, okay, I'm sorry, let me rephrase this. No one should ever be blocking psionics in Zodani space because everyone is open to each other.
It's just not done. It's not done.
It's not done.
What do you have to hide?
What do you have to hide? See, you understand, Zodani. You have nothing to hide. There's no need to wear a psionic shield in any way. And are there agents of the government who wander about listening on people's thoughts to make sure that their thoughts are not antisocial? Yes, there are. But that's normal. So, and I don't know why anyone would be worried about it.
Yeah, the Harlock was thrilled to be put on assignment for a number of reasons.
Really? That's weird because
yeah, to do the best for her people, obviously.
Right, but it's a big sacrifice because most Zodani don't like being outside of.
It is
Zodani
very
space.
loud. It is very psionically loud, though. So
it's very psionically loud, and also people on the outside are liars, right? People don't tend to lie that much in Zodani space because
you just can't. You just can't.
Just kind of can't. And there are a lot of weird frictions out in this sort of way. But when you look at him, you know that rumor had it, he had these terrible injuries, and he doesn't really have them now. And his skin is just perfect. Maybe a little too perfect, but it is very perfect. And he's sitting there quite a little stiff. And, but he is indeed wearing a psionic shield, which means, well, I suppose it means all sorts of things. You've not actually seen anyone else wearing these sort of psionic blockers here. Many people don't. The technology is somewhat rare. If anyone would have that kind of technology, Drinax would. But he is currently wearing it, which I don't know what that means. But he sees you, and he stands up as you step in. And as he stands, he's a little stiff. There's like a stiffness about his body as he stands, a slight sort of grimace as he stands, and he makes a bow. It's not particularly deep, as if he can't necessarily perhaps he's not as fluid as he could be. And of course, Drinaxian bows also are dance steps because their culture is so aesthetically elevated that these things are also connected to dance a little bit. And so as he does his bow, there's he sort of like slides his left foot backwards to make this sort of dance step, but he stumbles a little bit. He's actually a little stiff. It's if you are used to Drinaxian court culture, it's a little embarrassing. It would not make him impressive to most people, the lack of dexterousness in his bow. He probably should do a pretty good pirouette, but he does not get off the floor. It's just sort of like a slightly low bow with a slight sort of foot movement in the back that is it's almost the gesture as it should be, but And then he stands back up.
Quick question. Would the blocker, is it just a blocker, or can they be designed to also influence psionics around, like...
No, this is
Okay.
a blocker.
Just a blocker. Okay.
Just a blocker. Now,
Got it.
you don't need to worry about this because you have telepathy. But the only way, the only ability that lets you shield your mind psionically is telepathy. If you have all the other psionics but you don't have telepathy, your mind is open just to any kind of attack or whatever it is. So sometimes some high-level psionics on some kind of mission perhaps might wear a shield, but it's really quite frowned upon. It would be a as needed sort of a thing.
Okay.
You know, like, I mean, why would you ever need to shield yourself from the minds of the health inspectors? You clearly wouldn't. So,
Who no reason. That would be silly.
yeah. Side note, there's almost no crime in Zodani space.
Sure isn't.
Nope. Almost none. And people who do commit crimes in Zodani space, well,
They get found out real quick.
or they have psionic shields and blockers, and it's a whole thing. But nonetheless, this should mostly be just shielding him from in case you wanted to read his mind or control his mind or puppet him like a meat puppet or attack him with your assault power, which
Interestingly, the king, I don't believe I noticed wearing one of these.
You did not notice the king wearing it, as a matter of fact.
So
Nobody else in the court that you have seen so far has been wearing a psionic shield, including the king when meeting with you, and when he knew that you were Zodani, he was not wearing one. But Harrick is.
Which, on the level of a political kind of thing, that would be a little rude. But
Yes, but it also implies that he knows you're Zodani, or at least psionic, and that is not public knowledge in the court. None of the upper court has said anything about it, right? They've not announced it to anybody. They've sort of kept you, how do I put this? You're kind of going with a "You're Not Zodani" cover story, and they have kept your cover story. So Drinax does not know that you are Zodani. The king knows, the princess knows, and it seems as if also the prince knows. But this is something that they have kept your secret.
But it's interesting that the prince is wanting to be a little more shielded than everyone else for whatever reason.
For whatever reason, we don't
Void
know
Smoker
why.
mentions it could be a fashion choice. Maybe it looks nice.
And it does. It looks very nice. I mean, it's a little bit more blue than his outfit, but it's fine. He says, and when he speaks, his voice is a little quiet, as if he hasn't used it in a while. He says, "The Harlock. I have been told by my sister that you and I might be betrothed if her plan for Drinax is successful."
Your Majesty, it certainly has been proposed.
"Please, have a seat." And he looks at one of the guards and he says, "Could you please bring tea, if you would?"
And the Harlock
And
would kind of glance at both the guards and then sit down.
The guards are also wearing psionic shields.
Rude.
And they seem to be very comfortable with the prince. You have not seen these guards before. I know you're pretty good at names and faces. When you were in the court, when you saw the guards who were in the palace, when you were meeting with the king and the princess and the rest of the court, these guards were not there. So you do not, and their uniforms are just slightly different than the rest of them. They have a little bit of they They have like the prince's crest on them, so they seem to be perhaps his personal guard rather than just the general palace guard. And one of them sort of bows, nods, and sort of heads off to get tea, I imagine. And he waits for you to sit.
And so, yeah, kind of glances at the two guards and then would make a show of sitting.
And he sits, and as he sits, it is very... Drinax is a culture of grace and aesthetic, and also desperate post-apocalyptic doom. But despite all of that, the deck chairs are beautiful, right? Like, everything is very fluid. Gracefulness is very important to the Drinaxians. You know, thinking about Severance's outfits, like they're very that, and he is not performing that particularly well as he sits very stiffly. He says, "So, the Harlock. I believe, as I've learned from my father, the king, that you are nobility."
Yes, that is correct.
Yes. And my understanding is that you are nobility from a planet within the Zodani consulate.
I suppose, since you speak the information, you don't truly need my answer.
Well, I would like to know how honest or dishonest you are.
Yes, I am from a planet within the Zodani consulate. She glances at the other guard just like super quick.
And the guard is a little on edge, right? Like, I will note nobody else has given you this vibe since you've been here, right? Like, most people don't know you're Zodani, so why would they give you that vibe in the first place?
Right.
But nobody in the rest of the court has given you this vibe. Nobody seemed to be on edge with you. As a matter of fact, both the king and the princess seemed to think you were pretty cool, right? Like, they were just like, aha, pretty cool. And we're very excited about you. But there's just this a little bit of a tension here.
I think on seeing that, just would either quick glance and then make it not obvious, but to where the prince would be able to see that she kind of clocked this, and would continue to address Prince. You can let your guard know I'm not going to telepathically start throwing things around.
Well, that remains to be seen.
Does it?
One never knows. Please, could you tell me what brought you here to the floating palace? You have been here on Drinax for at least a decade. My understanding is 12 years or so that you came here. Yes, something like that. What brings a Zodani noble to the floating palace, especially one who does not announce their lineage?
Would you believe me if I said the view is charming?
No, I would not. The door opens and the other guard comes in with this tray of tea and places it down and sort of looks at you just to like a little nervously, like, were you gonna do anything? Because he sort of had leaned down within proximity, but you didn't do anything, so he then steps back and sort of moves back. And then stops, realizes something, that by moving back, that means the prince has to pour. And as the prince goes to reach, and you can see him wince a little bit in pain, the guard grabs the
Oh, I think
pot of
before
tea.
the guard like comes back forward, she would just like hiss at him and like grab the pot of tea herself. And
it's a little.
pour for the prince first, and then pour a cup for herself, and set it down, and just kind of like shoot a glare at him. She is noble. She knows how it's supposed to work.
Oh yes, and the minute you hiss at him, he just kind of like backs up, almost like you were going to hit him, maybe psionically with your mind, and he just sort of backs up, and maybe and then he feels a little embarrassed because he probably should have not been so nervous because he's a guard after all. He's supposed to protect the prince, and he just like backed off. So it was just like this kind of little moment, and the other guard, she looks at him like, "What was that?" Right, and they kind of stand there again.
Your Highness.
Yes.
Do you take anything in your tea?
He stops and he thinks about it. And one of the guards says, Your Highness, you normally take 2 sugars and a shot of tablasto in the tea. Yes, 2 sugars and a shot of tablasto.
And this would probably be the first time that she's kind of noticing the little things that are said. And I imagine, because it would be like the sugar's in a really nice bowl, and the tablasto's probably not just in a tablasto bottle.
Yes. Oh.
Yes. Would be the guess. But I think whenever the guard says that 2 sugars and a tablasto shot, she would actually visibly look like very briefly kind of surprised. But would go to actually like put those in there.
Yeah.
And then she would do the same for herself too, because that sounds interesting.
And he takes the tea. He says, to your health, the Harlock. And he raises, he actually always braces the cup with both hands. He doesn't just lift one off. He braces both and he drinks. He puts the glass down. He waits.
And yours, Your Highness. May I ask? And she's holding the tea, and she kind of leans forward just a little bit, as if that's going to make the conversation more private. Your health, Your Majesty.
I am in perfect health.
If I may, you seem a little uncomfortable.
I have been asleep a long time.
Ah, of course. Forgive my bringing it up. And she takes a drink.
Yes. And there, he's somewhat awkward, right? He's quite stiff. If you don't,
I feel
see
being
him
out for
talking,
20 years would do a number on someone.
Yeah. And if you don't see him talking or moving, it just looks like he's got good military bearing. But the minute he starts talking and moving, the minute you are in his company for a little bit longer than just seeing him standing at an event, you're like, oh, okay. There's
He's probably very uncomfortable.
He's probably very uncomfortable.
In a multitude of ways.
In a multitude of ways.
The guess.
And it looks like there's maybe sometimes he gets pain, right? You know? He says, so, why have you been at the floating palace for so long?
To find out information, of course. Why else would I be?
So, you are a spy for the Zodani consulate, then?
I am a purveyor of information. I collect information everywhere I go, and I have been a great many places. I could tell you all sorts of interesting things you probably don't know.
I have a question, then. If you have so much information.
And I have an answer.
How do you find my sister?
Your sister seems to be very strategic and very forward-moving.
Have you had tea with her?
Unfortunately, I have not the pleasure yet. And takes another drink.
I know that you have met with my father to discuss this gambler's plan.
And what is your take on this gambler's plan, Your Highness?
I do not think that I will, if I am allowed by my father to reject the betrothal that I will accept as a prince of Drinax. As a citizen of Drinax, we do not always have the freedom to choose selfishly. We must also always choose for the good of the whole. And my sister, my father, has decided that I should be betrothed to you if this plan succeeds. I have asked my father and sister to... And he stops, trying to recall the words. And you notice he has a hard time remembering words sometimes, actually. That he sometimes has to sort of search for the word that he sometimes just used a little bit earlier. And you can see he just switches the conversation back to something you just asked earlier. Like he seems to have lost the thread a little bit. I do not approve of this plan at all.
No.
No. My sister is wrong.
A bold thing for you to say, Your Highness, considering the king is backing her.
Yes. But my little sister is wrong.
And what makes you think that? And she, at this point, she kind of leans forward, like fully leans forward with the tea in her hands.
I would like to note, would you make diplomacy for me?
Yes.
And I would say you can do either intelligence or education or social standing. They're all a little bit different. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. Said either education, social, or I'll probably go with social just because would have been some experience with that.
Yeah, each gives you a different sort of. That's a 4.
Wow. Sure is. I'll put a little bit of luck into there.
If you give me 2,
I will.
Well, actually, I'll tell you what. You are a noble, so if you can roll 1 more d6, and I'm giving it to the boon because you are a noble after all.
That's a 5.
5. So that will you rolled a 1 and a 4, by the way. So that's
Sure did.
4 more. So that's an 8, which is good enough.
Okay.
You needed an 8. What he's saying is potentially treasonous.
That
I mean,
don't know that I would have had to roll to make that kind of a guess.
but that's not the point.
Yeah.
The point is that he's saying it in front of his guards. Normally, if you're going to say something that might be potentially treasonous, you would not say that in front of the guards because they would just go and tell the king. This is also,
so these guards are likely very close to him.
Yes, likely. Now, is it full-on treasonous? No, it's just perhaps a bit disrespectful and a bit touchy. And again, maybe not a thing that you would say in front of guards that were not completely close to you.
Right. Well, and like, I imagine as the prince saying it, it would be a little different than if I were to say it.
Yes. But perhaps worse, actually.
Oh.
Because
Sure.
you are a stranger you're not a member of the court.
Right.
If you say it, well, okay, and
Sure.
but he is the oldest child.
Yeah.
He was once the heir, and then he wasn't when he exploded and has been away for 20 years, and now the princess is the heir, and that's a little awkward, perhaps, for some folks. So,
Explosions will do that.
yeah. So him saying that is maybe not the greatest.
Mm-hmm.
He says, well, no, my little sister doesn't understand. The world properly.
And if I may ask, Your Highness,
Mm.
you do?
Yes.
What
She
would...
was not on a seam, and I was.
Well, if I may, what is it that you would do, Your Majesty?
First, and he tries to lean forward in a slightly threatening way, but not like, more like, threatening's a bad word, but more like I'm a threatening person. I'm tough,
Sure,
I'm dangerous.
sure. Yeah,
Not
yeah,
like
yeah.
directly threatening you, but like showing his power.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work well, actually. Because,
Funny.
yeah, right? So he kind of like leans forward as you had leaned forward. He tries to mirror you.
Imposing. There's a good word.
Imposing, yes. He's trying to be imposing, but, right? I will note, his body is stacked. He's muscular, and like his body seems imposing, but his ability to move in it seems less so.
Well, like, I mean, somebody can be imposing and also have thrown out their back or something like that, knock over with a stiff breeze.
It's like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he leans forward and he says, for me, it is important that no one in the royal court has undue influence from forces known for their ability to influence the minds of others.
Your Highness. And she leans even closer. Your Highness, you can just say that you don't like me.
I don't know you.
Well, now's your opportunity to change that. What would you like to know? I've already told you why I've come. You know where I'm from. Ask away. And she leans back, and the tea has now been set down.
I do not like that you are the... What is the name for the person that runs a ship? One of the guards says, Captain. Yes. I do not like that you are the captain of this plan.
And why is that? Pray tell.
I do not like the plan. And I do not like how close my sister is with the Zodani.
Well, I, Your Highness, am simply, much as you, should we become betrothed, following the orders of your father.
This
Many
mission...
of us don't have choices in many ways.
No. Because it is our duty to work for the good of all. But I do not believe that this mission is for the good of all.
No.
No.
And why is that?
We should... We are in trouble here. Drinax, something must change here. We cannot stay as we are. This I agree with my sister. But we are a government without a nation, a head without a body. Yes, we both agree. And yes, we as Drinaxians can do great good outside of our planet. On this we agree. But you, my sister learned the wrong lesson from Asim. She learned that a small force can go to a place and make a great change. I learned that if we go to other places, we are killed and we die. Not only do we die, but others die. We should not be going to the stars as pirates in a dishonorable way. We should not try and join all of the reaches. It is too much. It's too big. Perhaps one or two small planets near us, if they so desire, and we come to them only as gardeners, as teachers, without ever taking up arms, never with a military force. There is never any justification for any sort of militarization ever. We can go with our technology to maybe 2 or 3 worlds. Maybe Porn or Torpal, if they wish it. But my sister's relationship with my father is unhealthy. It is destructive. They feed each other. She wishes to impress him by reaching farther than she should. And he, out of guilt that he made her run everything, while after my mother's death, lets her do as she wishes. Her plan is dishonorable. Drinax, we are not pirates. We are not villains. I do not wish to be linked with a power that robs people of their minds, that is a conquering power. I do not wish Drinax to be criminals and violent. Do not want it to be large or expansive. I want it to be small, peaceful.
You want peace, Your Majesty.
Yes,
Peace can come at a rather high cost.
that cost can never be violence.
And if others choose violence against you, if they think they can squish you beneath their heel for you are small, what then?
There is no one in the reaches who has the technology to destroy us.
Technology, perhaps not, but sheer numbers, as you said yourself.
More importantly, if we grow too large, the Aslan will just come and destroy us again. Cannot do this. We must remain small, humble, peaceful, and quiet.
And she kind of leans for, like, almost as if she, like, has a moment of being, like, concerned about his physicality. Yeah. Your Highness, I know that you do not know me, nor trust me for that reason. However, may I speak freely?
Yes.
You're clearly in pain. Should the day come, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow nor the next, but should the day come when you do feel like you can garner some trust, I can help you.
I have been healed by some of the greatest minds in all of this area of space. They assure me that the pain I feel is just the price.
Yes, well, and I think at that she leans over and, like, kind of places her hand on top of his. Yes, but my mind is not from this area of space.
I will ask you this. My sister, this is her plan. My father accepts it, of course, but it is hers.
Yes.
She has alliances. You, the Harlock, are very attractive. You cut a dashing figure.
She kind of leaned back. Well, flattery may get you everywhere. Why do you say?
I see how the people talk about you. And the Vexpexers, when they visit, they talk about Severance. Some of the young ones speak about Terrica. Those who come from a seam, they speak of Dr. Morrissey. The people in all of our spheres of influence, they see you as dramatic heroes to look up to. But you are dishonoring all of us through criminality and cowardice. We're not doing the right thing. I will ask you, not now. It's not the time. I will ask you, if you have honor, when the time is right, to denounce my sister and her plan, then her support will fall. And then we, as Drinax, can fulfill our true destiny of being humble gardeners and not criminals. Without you all, my sister will have nothing, and we can make a better Drinax.
Perhaps we can.
But the time is not yet right.
And pray tell, how shall I know when this right time has occurred, Your Majesty?
Do not yet know. I can ask you something.
Of course.
I believe my sister, just as she influences my father, I believe someone influences her. But do not mistake what I'm saying. She is no puppet. Puppet? Yes.
But perhaps someone has her ear, is I believe what you're insinuating, is it not?
Yes. And if not her ear, then she theirs. I don't know yet who it is. It could be you, who has been whispering in her ear, or GD or pirates at Thieves, or may be even the glorious Empire. They are Azenut, but they are the enemies.
Your Highness, I can assure you, I do not whisper when I speak.
I will take that into advisement. I think that you stay here is a sign that perhaps you are not the one.
Well, I can assure you, I take your words very seriously, and I, of course, shall take this all to advisement and keep my eyes open.
My sister, I give you this information because you should know that I am not out of touch, or it might be easy to imagine that I do not know or I am not capable. But I know things, and I am capable, and so I tell you this. My sister, she has made secret flights off of the planet. My allies have kept watch on her, and she has gone more than once to a seam, and not always were they announced diplomatic missions. I believe she is meeting secretly with someone. Someone she is allying with for her plans of dishonor and conquest.
Well, Prince, would it be of value to you if I were to find out who this alliance is with?
Yes. If it is indeed someone as dishonorable as this plan she has made, then I can expose her treachery to all of the palace. And then we can continue a new direction of the humble gardener.
Well, Your Highness, I thank you in deep gratitude for this information. For, as you know, sometimes it is those who are underestimated who end up being the most powerful.
Yes. I cannot marry a warlord.
You certainly have a high opinion to think that I would ever become a warlord.
People speak
Unless
of
you
your
are...
deeds.
People speak of many things.
They say that you vanquished, that you fly across the stars with the crew of the gambler, striking down all who stand in your way.
Your Highness, I have neither the time, desire, nor energy to vanquish everyone who crosses my path.
I do not know if we shall be forced to wed. But I wish to wed someone who grows things.
A noble desire, certainly.
It is a pleasure that you would attend me this day. It is an honor. I appreciate your time coming here when I know you have so much happening. Must certainly, I imagine, need to meet with Lord and Lady Hill and with my father and the princess and all of those others.
So, outside of that real quick,
Mm.
would... It very much seems like he's not up to date on a few things.
That is correct. That happened only a few hours ago.
Sure did. Sure did.
That Lord Rax, the head of the Star Guard, came to your ship to ask about when he told you needed to speak to the prince.
You know what? This can't possibly go poorly. I think at that she would pause and kind of look at him, just kind of assessing if he misspoke or if he just didn't know. Seeming like he just doesn't know. She would be, Your Highness, may I offer you something in the way of knowledge? Perhaps think of it as a way to build trust between us.
All right.
Lady and Lord Hill were assassinated today.
What?
They're dead.
This is... Did it?
Well...
Was it...
There are forces at play. The assassin was dispatched, but it was a hired hand, if you will. And she would kind of lean forward. Do you presume that there are any enemies that you can think of that might be then coming after anyone higher up, such as yourself or the royal family?
The hills are very important to Drinax. Lady Hill is the royal spy master, and Lord Hill, without him, he has always kept the peace between all people here. He is our diplomat, our, don't know the word, person who makes people work well together, makes them comfortable. Their loss is great. I imagine, I would like to think it was not my sister. Or one of her
Well,
allies.
one cannot say for certain at this early juncture, but given the information that you've shared, I think it's worth being on the safe side, particularly for yourself if you feel that you may be at odds.
My gods are loyal to me. I've made sure of it.
And she kind of glances at both of them.
And they do not seem surprised by the things that he's saying out loud. Let's just put it that way. They don't seem like, oh my gosh, he said these things. But they are a little bit more relaxed since you two are talking a bit more normally. But they're still vigilant. But when you say that, they kind of look around the room like, is there an assassin here? Of course there's not. You're in a small room. But
Right.
they seem a little bit on edge.
Okay.
This is...
Do they seem like they knew this information about the assassination, or do they seem surprised in the way that they would have been with the prince the entire time?
That's
So
what it
they're
seems
kind
like.
of-
They were probably
okay.
with him the entire time, and so
Got it.
probably no one told him, which means no one told them.
No toll. Gotcha.
The loss of the Ravenhausens are terrible. I should... He stops and he thinks, there's protocol. I should send my condolences to Liege Terrica.
If you would like, Your Highness, I will be seeing them shortly. I can pass along anything you would wish to convey.
Yes. Lord Hill normally did much of this sort of work with deaths and births and celebrations of 1 year around the sun. He was always there.
Of course.
I don't know how we shall weather the loss of 2 Drinaxians of such service.
Well, Your Majesty, I do apologize. It seems that you're taking the news quite hard. I apologize if I, for any discomfort that I have brought upon you.
I have lost so many years. I had many a lovely game. I would sit with Lord Hill and we would play granite for many hours. But that was before. I have lost many years.
Yes, of course. I apologize all the same. It sits heavily upon you, and however,
As I imagine it does for all Drinaxians.
Yes, of course. However, I did feel it would be proper for you to know.
When did this happen?
Today. Earlier.
I imagine Lord Rax will be investigating. I should reach out to him. And he stands up.
And whenever he does, like, the Harlock would too.
I thank you for this visit, and I ask you to search your heart, to follow the honorable path when the time comes. Thank you for your knowledge that you have shared. Thank you for considering my words. Thank you for telling me about Lord Hill and Lady Hill. We shall have ceremonies to do.
Of course. And she, keeping in mind the guards are right there, goes and just like lightly puts a hand on his sleeve. Please remember what I said about helping you. And kind of
Yes.
draws back and then would turn to go, which I'm assuming one of the guards will see her.
And one of the
wherever
guards
it is.
will walk you back to the gambler. And as you sort of walk out, you can kind of see in the corner of your eye the prince, like, basically, once you're sort of out of eye shot, collapse back down in his chair, sort of slightly out of breath, seemingly in a bit of discomfort and pain. But he looks great. His body looks perfectly
He's
fixed.
got that going for him.
And the guard will walk you back to the gambler, where we will find out what happens there when we get back from break. We're going to take our 10-minute, and when we come back, we have a fiancé to meet, yeah, we have a fiancé to meet. Well, we just had one meeting of fiancés right there. The Harlock and the Prince had a lovely fiancé meeting, and we'll have the next meeting of fiancés in 10 minutes. Everybody stretch your legs, drink some water, drink some tea, and it's fine. Everything in Drinax will be fine. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine. And
So
we
I guess
are
we'll
back,
never know.
everyone.
Oh.
Oh, hey. Oh, hey.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. When
Had
last
time to
Everything's
leave
fine.
the room. Hold on.
we were on the Gambler, everyone was there except for the Harlock, who has spent the time when you were doing other stuff talking to the prince. And the last we left off there, Duke Caspian Hendrick, whose slide is now on our slideshow, contacted you all asking if he might have permission to board the Gambler.
Right. And this
Am I
is...
back yet?
Not yet, because you'll be walking back. So he's going to
Sorry,
get
I'm
there,
highly
and then you'll
distracted by
walk
our
back in.
Discord.
Yes.
Yeah, you get to walk in on the drama.
Yes, you get to walk in on the drama. Is
You
what's
get the
gonna happen.
best seat in the house, basically. Yeah.
Do I have permission to board? This is Lord Caspian Hendrick, Duke of Fenris.
Yes. Right, yes.
The computer,
Fine.
who is not Sue, says, "Opening door."
Wait, hold on, maybe not. 1 second.
What are we doing?
No,
this?
don't. You can't. You
What do you mean we
cannot.
can't? I'm an admiral.
Yes.
And I'm about to
and
be
he-
something else, I think. There's going to be
Well,
a ceremony, and I could probably do whatever I just did. Why?
He's from the Imperium, And based on what Lord Rax just said, he's got some
Of
clout.
course,
so
all right,
we
then
have
I
to handle
understand.
this diplomatically.
Say no more.
Definitely not, sorry.
So what was the what were we thinking of doing?
Well, we need to handle him diplomatically, and telling him not to board the ship is not that.
Ah, yes.
My mistake, sorry. I thought you were someone else. Come on board.
Oh.
What is this?
And Terrica's
Opening
very
door.
Terrica's gonna be like, and they're gonna, as quickly as they can, describe the way to greet an Imperial, because I think that like they would have known this, right? So they will try and describe it for everybody in the room as they are pulling out glasses of like Mithros,
Mhm.
because it would, I assume, be customary to have some sort of drink, or like I would assume it is customary for there to be a drink for Imperial
Mhm.
guests. So they're going through all of the like things that they know are required on the diplomacy side.
And I'm looking for like a newspaper to just, but then
Why?
but we're not in a newspaper society right now.
No, that's weird.
Fair
and
enough.
so it's just some internal quiet panic. It's fine.
Oh,
Not
Terrica
sure
does know
why.
enough that I think they would like give Quint a sympathetic look.
Yeah, because I was saying that I used to know Duke Hendricks. We were like
Yeah.
friends, just
Yeah.
friends, nothing more.
And then, well, but
Yeah.
Terrica also knows that you don't have friends.
Don't have.
So-
Yeah,
What?
Yeah.
2.5?
Wow.
Friends.
Well, that's true. That's true.
it's true.
Wow.
I don't,
Yeah.
One of them's dead though, so only 1.5 friends now.
Oh,
1.5 friends.
No, I've got like
Darn.
2.5, 3 friends
That's
now.
my favorite
Like,
sitcom.
Yeah,
Doubled
Terrica
my
is a friend.
friendships.
Well, Terrica
1.5
wants to be
friends.
No, we're friends. We're friends. We had
We're
a friend
friends?
talk. Yeah,
We did have a
We're
friend
friends,
talk.
friends.
we had a friend
friends.
talk. We're friends.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So it's just like Phoebe and Joey. Is that it? That's
Yeah,
just
right.
that's all you got?
Exactly. Yeah. 1.5 friends. That's it.
Well, it's more like Joey and There's only like
It's Joe eating noodles.
I
Yeah,
had
that
2
joke's
friends,
got-
and then I
that joke
had
has
1.5 friends, and now I've got like
Yeah.
3.5 friends. You know, I've
And,
practically doubled my friendship numbers recently.
So Duke Hendricks is wandering around in your hold because no one went to greet him.
Val will go.
Oh,
I'll probably
Nice.
also go. Are you going
Nice.
in the suit? You're going
No.
naked. You're going
naked.
Yes.
Just
But-
he's wearing clothes now. He's now
Val,
wearing.
Val, this is Val's naked.
I know
season.
I'm going naked. I want him to know what he's up against. Right?
If you didn't catch the last couple episodes, this is Val's naked arc.
It's naked time.
Yes.
It's a no pants dance.
Naked
More of a
Tim.
curve. All right.
no
sorry.
pants dance.
So, Val, you head down the elevator, right, down to the bay where all the grebes are, and you see coming towards you,
Yes.
sort of walking up, passing by the grebes and the swimming pool, and the sort of. You see him looking up, and he sees the silks, and the other.
Oh, fuck. I mean, I'm not here.
The other Cirque du Soleimani practice gear up on the ceiling. He sort of notes it as you come out, and he is he's the hot guy from Bridgerton season 1 is who he is.
Yeah, I saw the slide.
Yeah. And
me Google
he
this.
sees you, and he goes, hello, I'm Duke Hendricks of Fenris. I'm here to greet my fiancé, Terrica.
Duke Hendricks, and he will perform
Yes.
the customary dance-esque bow for somebody
Oh.
from the Imperium. And
He
then-
looks at you a little like, what was that? Is what he looks like.
good, and then he would say, "Lord Terrica, nice to meet you."
He looks at you a little bit confused, and he says, you are my fiance?
I don't believe so. I'm already wed.
Oh, all right. Could you, well, it's a pleasure to meet you. Could you take me to my fiance?
I would need some more information.
My fiance is Lady Terrica. I assume your sister?
That is my spouse.
Oh,
Maybe we should sit down. Would you care for a drink?
Certainly. And he's sort of expecting you to take him to because you're in like the cargo hold right now. He's expecting you to take you.
I'll take him up to the because we've done. I haven't. Val hasn't, but everyone else has really kind of decorated everything nicely and whatnot. Correct?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not completely fixed up. There are a lot of parts that are not fixed up, but upstairs it's much better now than it was before.
Well, then I will take the route that has been repaired.
Yes.
So even if it meanders a bit, he wouldn't know, So I'll go by all the places that have already been painted and like
Go this part. No, not this part. Around this way, and you make your way up right to the top, to the main floor of the Gambler. As well, I'm looking forward to. He seems like he has. It's very clear he does not necessarily know all of the naming conventions that happen over in Drinax, or a number of things about what happened in Drinax, because he's from very far away.
Right, and you know what? Val's actually being sympathetic. Val has no reason to dislike this guy off the jump. He's going to give him a chance to dig his own grave, but he literally he is so he just
literally
takes him in to our where we eat supper, and
everybody's there. Everybody, Val shows up with.
Well, no, then Val would take him somewhere where everyone isn't. He needs to kind of buffer
because
for everybody.
Everybody's in the galley right now. That's where they're hanging out.
Well, then Val will psionically talk to everybody and say, "I'm heading towards the galley with the Duke. If you all want to not be there, if you do, then stick around." Is that cool? Can I do that? I'm allowed to do that?
You need to roll your telepathy.
Dice mechanics. Always getting in the way of my fun.
Yes, it does. Except,
9.
Spend your psionic point.
Yes.
However, the Harlock hears that while she's having this meal with this tea with the prince, because you don't have to roll for the Harlock. Oh no, you do now because
we're severed.
You're severed. You do.
Would the Harlock still hear it? Is he
no, you're
really
too far
boosting
away.
it out there? Okay.
Yeah, I know you're too far away. The rest of you all do hear this coming in, those of you with telepathy. Let me ask, when Val and Duke Hendricks emerge from the lift, who is in the galley?
I am. I'm still eating.
Nice. Absolutely.
I'll be in the galley.
Terrica's not going to leave Val to have this conversation on his own.
So we're all there. We're all
Nice.
we're all there.
Well, thanks for making me spend a psionic point.
Love it.
You're welcome.
Love it.
You're welcome. I said I was going to talk to this guy, so I figured it would be okay if I was here.
Cord, you have a pass. Everybody else, fuck.
I go,
I was gonna see the Duke, no matter what.
Terrica's not going to leave Val up to something like this on his own.
He walks in, he
then
looks everyone, and he bows.
On the way up, Trooper, he would offer him a cigarette from not that knowing this is not a test or anything.
an Ascension cigarette.
No, it's from a seam, yeah.
A semen cigarette.
It's an Seaman cigarette.
It's
Cut grass.
It's as a movie.
Did Val offer him an ice pick or just a regular cigarette from a seam?
It's an ice pick, yeah.
Okay.
We're back in Drinax, so I'm sure he picked them some up.
Yeah. I'm afraid I can't smoke right before I meet my fiancé. That wouldn't be proper.
It's sort of a paradox, but okay. Because you're assuming you're going to meet your fiance, but I think we've had a bit of a miscommunication. But let's figure this all out.
And all right. Yes. And he's like, you can see he's just been thrown off about wait, who are you? What is going on? Because he just had a meeting only a couple of hours ago with Lady Hill, and he was given the rundown, so he's a little confused.
I'm afraid that deal, much like Lady Hill, has been terminated.
Oh.
And he comes out, right, and he looks at everybody, and he bows, and it is not a Drinaxian bow. It's a imperial bow.
Val will do the bow of presentation, and he will announce the Duke Hendricks.
Greetings.
Terrica will do the reciprocating bow.
And he is like, what is happening? Like, he's a little bit like, what is happening with these dance moves? Like, and he's like, okay, clearly this is some kind of diplomatic thing. This is clearly what they do. You can see him processing it now.
I'll
And he's
do
not
the imperial bow of response.
Yeah, Terrica would have done the Drinaxian response and then moved into the correct imperial one, right?
Greetings. I am Duke Hendricks of Fenris, and I have come to greet my fiancé, Lady Terrica. And he looks at the assembled people. Pardon me?
Liege. He would say that quiet enough just for the Duke.
And he looks a bit confused. Like, he's getting a lot of information that is not what he was given before, right? And he looks at you and says, what?
The title is Liege.
Oh. And he looks at the assembled group because he doesn't actually quite know which one is the one that he is engaged to.
Terrica will step forward and say, Duke, if you would like, I have prepared some Mithros. We have a conversation that we should have.
Excellent. I came, of course, as soon as I heard that your ship landed. It was wonderful to meet your brother, I guess, and...
My mother made many decisions without having conversations with me.
All right. This is delightfully awkward.
Yes, well, you can imagine.
Let's all have a seat. And Val will sit down.
I know.
And he looks to you he looks to all of you for introductions.
I worry out of character because I look like Marymore.
You do.
So, like, I'm not going, should I not be here?
Well, that psionic warning seems good now, doesn't it?
No, I gotta pass.
I've revoked it now.
Yep. Oh, shit.
And he looks at you,
psionically revoked the
Severance,
psionic power.
in your imperial clothing.
Mhm.
And he,
Oh no, I'm not wearing imperial
level.
clothing. I just
You're
have an
wearing
imperial
Marymore's
face.
clothing.
I have resting imperial face.
Yes, but are you still wearing your Marymore garb?
I am.
I thought you said you
the
changed
garb
to
that I wear
Drinaxian garb
is a
today.
Drinaxian.
All right then. Okay.
I mean, I do remember you saying specifically you put
Yes,
on very
yes.
fancy Drinaxian
That's
garb
true,
for
that's
this
true.
for
Yeah,
the dinner and
Yeah.
stuff.
I mean, we are wearing both silk robes and
Yes.
a flashy
Yes.
warm color underneath. That is
Yes.
Drinaxian,
Yes.
is it not?
Yes, it is. And he sees you, and he smiles a little bit
Good.
relieved.
I mean, Severance, Marymore. Severance, Marymore. Okay. There's a
Clark
difference.
Kent, Superman.
Clearly a difference. And he has eyebrows, so it'd be this is Marymore.
And he bows to you deeply, and he goes, "Oh, it is very good to see you, Lord Marymore. It has been
No, hold on,
some
no.
time.
This is Severance. This is
I,
Marymore.
I
This is
do
Severance.
wish to thank you for your condolences on my mother's passing. But I'm sorry. What are you doing here?
Yes, here I am on this ship. When you think I'm... Sorry, who are you again? As I start eating food.
Introductions would be, I think, useful at this time.
Yes,
and
yes.
Terrica will turn and say, you have met my spouse. Lord Terrica Valentine Morrissey.
Pleased to meet you.
He shakes your hand, and he's still a little bit confused by you having the same name as Terrica. That's a bit confusing to him. He's not quite certain what that means or what's going on there. It's a pleasure to meet you.
And this
is Lord Marymore.
No, this is Admiral Severance, a close relation.
To
well, the Corsair, really.
I mean, I know Lord Marymore. We've only met a few times, but I do know him by sight.
You've not heard of people appearing to be quite similar from each other? You said you'd only met a few times.
Yes, but I mean, this is Lord Marymore, and you.
And
he points to Quint.
This is Quint, but perhaps you've met?
No, I don't think so.
Quint Vesper. Nice to meet you.
Quint Vesper. And he goes, "Oh, you are Solomani."
Yes.
And you just said the word yes, and he was trying to listen to your voice, but then you just said one word, and he was like,
Yep.
Huh. All right. So, I have met with your mother, Lady Hill,
yes,
earlier today. She let me know that the ship was coming in, and we have the wedding is prepared for tomorrow, and I thought that I should. So, is this some sort of Drinaxian joke? Lord Marymore, please. What is happening?
I do appreciate that you think I am Lord Marymore, but I'm afraid you are mistaken.
Oh.
There's no joke, Duke.
Yeah,
It's only a miscommunication.
Well, all right, but...
Please, and Terrica will gesture to the seats, because I don't think we quite made it there. I think we
Nope,
just
not yet.
and then we
Not yet.
didn't quite sit. Yeah. So Terrica will like gesture to the seats and pour the Mithros.
Oh, thank you. So, Admiral Severance, you say?
No, I don't know who that is either. The Corsair, it will be fine.
The Corsair.
Yes, it's a new title.
It's a title of a pirate.
Well, you've heard of me.
Okay, so I'm so sorry. And he's looking
What
around like,
seems
okay,
to
wait,
be
this
the
person
issue?
just called himself sorry, Piracy is, you must be joking with me. All right, so.
Yes, obviously that.
Not a man of humor, I see.
I'm so sorry. I normally have quite a good sense of humor,
Well,
but it's.
you can't quite take the joke.
I'm just a little bit thrown off.
Understandably. I'm terribly sorry for you coming all of this way for nothing, but perhaps an alliance can still be forged. I was sorry to hear about your mother. Mine also passed soon after meeting with you.
Excuse me? What? Lady Hill has passed?
Tragic, yes.
When?
Just earlier this afternoon.
What happened? I had breakfast with her this morning.
I understand your confusion. I didn't expect it either.
What? Are you all right?
No.
I mean, I'm so sorry. She said so many kind things about you. I'm so sorry. This must be a terrible blow for you.
A lot has happened in these last few hours.
I am
Sorry
so
to
sorry.
hear about your loss as well.
Yes. Shuttle that she was in exploded.
Exploded? Just like that?
Yes. Yes. I suspect it was probably pirates. They can be a problem.
Yes, well, I suspect it was the same person who...
My advisors think that it was Soleimani separatists, but I don't believe that.
What do you believe? Pirates? Simple pirates?
More likely than Soleimani separatists would be the most likely candidate, but well,
Where will you
I
go
would
now?
hope not. When did you two get married? I'm afraid I must have missed my chance.
Recently.
And I'm by the way, I'm very sorry if I used the wrong title. I was told something different.
I prefer Terrica.
If I had known, do you use...
Please. No, just Terrica.
Oh, no, I was wondering about your pronouns. Does it matter, or do you use...
Oh, they, them. Please.
Of course. I'm so sorry. I was given the wrong information.
Thank you.
Has the Duke sat down yet?
He has finally sat down.
I'm going to kick the chair out from under him. Haha.
And he has the glass of Mithros, which he hasn't drank yet.
Oh boy, don't tease me like that.
Val's going to sit down beside him. He is going to put a bottle of whiskey down as well. He doesn't, he knows that they have that in the Imperium, but he's also trying to be as soon as Val hears that this guy has been given the wrong information, he knows who he got the wrong information from. That's Lady Hill. And Val has been on the other end of that shit for a long, long time.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So though Val has very little sympathy, maybe a thimbleful, he's going to just enough for this guy as he sits down and he says, Duke, do you mind if we maybe make this less formal and we can relax as just folks?
Please, get on my level. I've been doing this the entire time. Please, less formal.
Certainly.
Keep shoving food in my mouth.
Drinaxian food, it's very different. The spices are... And you can tell he's being very diplomatic. The spices are quite rare. By the way, Harlock, this is about when you would arrive. I've not actually quite had this mix before, but it's quite delightful.
You don't need to lie.
Was the Harlock expecting that this person would show up? Okay.
No.
And he's just on the ship.
Yes.
So, listen, Harlock would walk in and be like,
he stands.
Who are you?
I am Duke Caspian Hendrick, the
Why are you
Fenris.
here?
Val reaches up and slowly pulls him back down into his chair.
Why are you here? What are you doing?
I was
Did
here
someone
to
invite you? Did one of you invite this individual onto the ship?
here to meet my fiancé,
Sorry, Captain.
Liege Terrica.
Who are you? Kind of looks around at everyone.
And then the Harlock or Terrica will look at the Harlock and say, We just informed him that Lord Terrica and I have been married.
Val
Which
jumps
one-
in. Val jumps in the Harlock's mind. I had a point.
I think
I
you
had
have
a
to
point
roll.
that I
Do you,
used
Yes.
I think you have to roll
Yes.
for that, though. Do you not?
Motherfucker. Okay.
Hey, Val here. Quick thing to jot down.
Quick
Just
thing.
saying.
Yep.
5. I only needed 2 for you, or 4, or some shit.
It's a 4.
Yeah,
Yep.
you're good.
Jump, get on in there, buddy.
Hop in.
Terrica and I are married. That's the ruse. Everybody knows about it. Play along, please.
I think if anyone who knows the Harlock would see this look pass over her face of just like.
Oh my gosh, the ruse.
The Duke would not notice it quite as obviously,
No.
but
It is a pleasure to meet you.
where's Evan?
Great.
Turns to Severance. Where's Evan? I'm hungry.
We're not eating, Evan.
And there's an entire takeout of Drinaxian food there on the table.
I don't
Please.
want this. I've had a trying afternoon. Where is Evan? I would rather have anything but this.
Our captain doesn't enjoy Drinaxian cuisine, as you could
The
see.
spices
Duke,
are too
so-
rare for me.
That's exactly what you were saying, Duke. So I think you two would probably get along swimmingly. As
I quite
furiously
I quite
start eating
enjoy
some
the,
finger
the
food.
rare. And he
yes.
eats some of the food to show that like he is not being disrespectful.
Turns and looks at the Duke. Ugh. And then just kind of goes off to find wherever Evan is gone.
Evan's in his quarters.
Gonna go there.
Could I ask something if you don't mind? Not
As long as I could answer it.
And he's sort of like torn between like asking about the person who just walked off and that thing he wanted to ask before. You had silks in the cargo bay.
Yes.
Why? I also noticed a hoop.
Did you enjoy it?
Oh well, I mean there's a I have been a fan of performances like that. I'm a bit of a connoisseur. There's a I don't know. I mean, you would know. He points to Quint. You would know Big Solomani, but there's a great troupe of artists.
Take the whiskey. And I just slide it
called-
across while he's talking, and I just pour myself like a glass. I just like slide it back over, just like nonchalantly, as if I'm just refilling my
Yeah,
glass
yeah,
during
yeah,
this
yeah.
conversation. Yeah.
Mhm. Normal stuff. Nothing weird.
They called the Cirque de Solomani. They're some of the greatest artists anywhere in charted space, and I just noticed that they use things like that. Have you? Why would you have such things here on the ship?
I dabble.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
I dabble in the silks and the hoop.
Are you sitting across the table from him?
I'm wherever I was. I don't know. I didn't know where he was going to be sat, so I didn't move chairs from wherever we were having dinner with when Lord Rax was here.
And
I could be.
so I'm thinking that you're a little bit distant, and he's sort of trying to like place you. Did you why and then he's like, I'm here in front of my ex-fiance. This is awkward. So did you study or
I had some lessons.
okay. Interesting. Have you been here before? To Drinax,
First time
I mean.
to Drinax.
First time.
Beautiful place.
Surely you maybe you have been here before.
How about you? First time, Duke?
Yes, this is my first time here in the Outrim Void. I have never been to the Outrim Void before. I was passing through. I mean, I was actually here to meet my liege Terrica. So sorry, that's awkward.
Please, just Terrica. My mother has done a great number of things that are awkward.
Your mother, a wonderful woman. I was also pleased to meet your father. I'm so sorry. Already married. We were planning to. I mean, well, since I'm here, I just when was the last time you spoke with your mother? I'm so sorry.
No, Lord Hill was killed today as well.
What?
It has been a long day.
I am so sorry. What happened?
There was an assassination attempt.
Well, it wasn't an attempt.
Assassination.
It was a success. An assassination.
Double assassination.
Success. Really?
This is terrible.
There are forces that tried to move in your life and in mine. I don't have evidence to show this, but it is interesting to me that both your mother and both of my parents were assassinated so close to each other.
My advisors told me that they believed that Soleimani separatists killed my mother so that an ally of theirs would be in the Imperial mood. And I have a hard time believing that. At least I would like to not think that. I don't mean to. I know this is not really the right moment, but there is a green poplar mask with Viridian in your mother's study. She promised it to me, and I understand that it's somewhat.
Poplar mask like a tree?
Yes, it's a tree from Terra. It's a green poplar mask, and it has a bit of Viridian on it, and your mother promised.
Say mass or mask?
A mask. It's
yes.
wooden with
Right.
a streak of emerald in it, and your mother promised it to me as a gift, but
I know that
I was hoping that I might be able to get it at some point. I understand, of course, not now.
Terrica will look at Quint the second that Quint says no.
I just bet other things should be. I'm fine.
Terrica will mind link with Quint and be like, "Are you okay?" That's
roll
all
it.
they're going to ask.
Oh,
Just kidding.
That's
One
the name
second.
of
We
the
gotta roll
episode
it first.
today.
That's
Roll
right.
it.
Name of the
Wait, can
I- roll it?
game.
Trooper, can I act as the party line here? I already have something established.
oh, that's true.
Oh yeah.
We'd have
we
to go
were
through
all
the
in
whole party
same
line.
company.
It's
Oh,
been
yeah.
pretty quick.
Tell the operator. Where can I connect your mind thing?
He did connect us all to
Yep.
tell us.
Hi,
what-
you've reached
Yeah,
Val. What do you want?
But-
Hold, please.
To respond back, you do have to roll it because it's a two-way link. So you have to
okay.
roll it.
Here
It's
we
only a
go.
4.
Then I'll need to roll it as well, I assume, to
Yep, you do. Yep, and everybody's been that point.
yell through the mask. Oh, good.
Mhm.
Hello, character sheet.
But then you're all connected. Mm-hmm.
Mm. There it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'll spend
Nope.
a point of luck.
Okay.
I'll
Go ahead.
spend the
All
one
right.
point of luck.
All right.
I gotta.
You are connected.
Because
If you,
you get that, are you okay? And you hear, that's my
Yeah.
fucking mask.
Your mask?
My mask
Wait, from the circ?
from the circ.
Terrica, by the way, in this mind space
Mhm.
is like wearing their full like white that we've seen them in the mind space with before. But instead of I think the last time we saw them, they had like red dripping hands. Now they just have like red gloves that go up to the tops of their arms.
What does Quint look like?
Well, specifically right now, because
Yeah.
of people that might be here at the present, Quint
Mhm.
is probably wearing like an evening gown.
Weird.
An
An expensive
and
one?
has a mask, and would probably like a very
is it-
expensive evening gown.
Is it the mask?
In
Is it
Viridian
the same
green.
mask?
Yeah, and it would be the same mask
Oh,
on. The
okay.
mask would be like probably like adjacent, like when you like shift a mask to like to talk or do something. Yeah, the mask would be
It'd be like
on Quint, but shifted.
okay.
Could you explain a bit more how expensive and fancy Quint looks right now? Like how impressively extravagant Quint
The
looks?
materials would be
Uh-huh.
natural fibers, which in of
Mhm.
itself is probably a bit more expensive in this day and age. Probably silks,
Mhm.
like a brocade.
Mm,
It'd be it would be tailor fit. It would be a
Mhm.
custom evening gown,
Mhm.
with viridian greens and probably swirls of black and other shades of green, with a slit going up to the thigh so that there's ease of movement still. Probably strapless, but with evening gloves. Probably asymmetrical evening gloves, so one's a little longer than the other. On opposite sides of the mask is asymmetrical on.
Sweet.
Mhm.
And probably some very expensive makeup as well. And like the hair would be in an intricate updo. Lots
Mhm.
of braids
Ooh.
and
Sick.
yeah.
Super complicated. I don't think you've
Yeah.
ever seen Quint ever look like that before. All of y'all in the mind space, which is at this point in time,
No, usually Quint's in
everybody.
athleisure wear.
Yep. Mhm.
Like even in the
So-
mind space.
Dotty
Including you, the Harlock.
da.
You're like, oh, that's all of a sudden, just like in a snap, Harlock is looking like an opera star of some such in the mind space. What does Severance
It
look
has
like
no
in the mind
idea
space?
that this looks like
Severance
this,
in the
'cause-
mind space?
Because you're all in the party line.
We're all
We're all
Oh,
here.
I didn't know
We're
I was
all
in the party line. I thought
Val's the
the
operator.
past
no.
like 8 seasons. I thought you were all in a party line, a party chat without me.
No,
because you-
never.
Val always invites Severance in. So
All right,
Val
I
always
almost
invites
always
Severance
invite
in the mind
Severance
space.
And I always leave you unread.
You do. It's you.
I got a notification. Fuck it.
Yeah, that's what Severance
Oh, it's
says.
Val again. Okay.
He's typing back. I can see he's typing back. Just wait. He's typing back.
Exactly. Okay, so what does he look like in the mind space? I don't know if he has like any.
right now, like I don't know what you look like. You might look like differently in other moments, but in this moment in the mind space, after you've just had this conversation with Lord Rax and all this, and you're having your food, what do you look like?
King. Like there is, I think there is gilded armor that he is wearing, but it's almost like very courtly and very like if Henry VIII had a battle suit, that was what
Yeah.
he'd be wearing.
Nice.
And he has gilded heels on his boots that are probably about 2 or 3 inches.
Nice.
And
Nice.
his hand is resting on his ornate saber, and his hair
Yeah.
is also actually his hair is down.
Nice.
Usually always up, but it is down in this
Yeah.
moment, and it just looks like a sci-fi Henry VIII.
Love it.
As he's just sort of confused. There is like a fiber optic glinting mole on his cheek.
Nice.
Oh
That's
my God.
very
Thank you.
fashionable.
Love it.
Thank you. As he just sort of is a little taken aback.
Yeah, and Quint would carry on in the to Terrica's question response. Yeah, it's the mask is supposed to be on home in Solomoni's space, probably in the vault by now, or in the
What does
care of
Val
one
look
of the
like?
other cardinals. It's not supposed to be out here.
This is our,
That was the
this
exact-
in-game meta huddle. Is that what the psionic
Yeah.
space is
Yes,
right now?
Yes.
if
Oh my God,
anybody's
this
ever
is-
played the game Guardians of the Galaxy,
Yeah.
this is where we stop the fight, we huddle up and decide which song we're going to listen to, and then we go out
Yeah,
and
which
kick
is
ass.
sweet. It's like that's so
Except
cool.
that Hendrix is like, no one's talking. This is awkward. What's Val like?
Yeah.
There's a bunch of
Val-
assholes
just-
standing in a circle.
We're just very
Staring at each
solemn
other.
because of the assassinations. That's what it is.
I mean,
so
We'll cut the
solemn.
cue.
And
Val
I said
is
no
like the
very
opposite-
awkwardly.
Yep, Val's like the opposite of Severance. He is wearing like denim, like farmer gear. He's got a cowboy hat on. He's got
Boy,
dirt
button
under
line
his
space.
nails. He's got way more of a beard than he normally does, and his hair's
Yeah.
much longer. And there's a tendril of it coming out down to his jawline. And he's super tan, and he doesn't
Nice.
seem to realize it.
But farmer's tan is what I want to
Super
know.
tan or sunburn?
Just a
Oh no, this is Farmer Brown. This is
Okay.
Farmer
Yeah,
Farmer Brown.
and I'm going to assume that he's wearing the equivalent of Wrangler jeans and his butt looks great in them because I was in the army. I know
Obviously.
these things.
I didn't think I had to describe that. That's just assumed.
Assumed.
And what
Emphasis
does the
on the ass,
Harlock
yes.
look like?
Yeah, so the Harlock would be wearing entirely black, black pants, black boots, everything. It's excruciatingly tight, but like
Nice.
the kind of fabric that moves so that she could slip into somewhere
Yeah.
very easily. Super short hair, slick back, and has like a black mask on with no features on it. But you can tell that she can see through it. She's watching everyone, but nobody can see what her face is doing.
Well, I mean, she doesn't need her eyes. She's a Zodani. She has
Sure,
awareness.
but like,
like just whoosh, right? Yeah, yeah.
oh yeah, but like, every sense can be valuable.
Absolutely. And then, as you're all there in this huddle in the psionic space, and meanwhile on the outside, like Evan is saying something to the Harlock in his quarters. Hendrix is looking at everybody like, oh, it's gotten very awkward, and he just looks a little bit awkward for the moment as he takes some of these noodles.
No, nice.
Terrica will respond to Quint's like, it's supposed to be in, it's supposed to be
Like,
in Solomoni's space,
safe
etc.
on a different planet, in it like years away from here. Yeah.
And they will say, I don't know how it got here, but I did see it in her. It's in her study. It is.
Okay.
I can get it for you.
Oh fuck! This is really
can-
bad.
Why is this
Really, really bad.
bad? Why is this bad, Quint?
There might be assassins sent
More?
after me. The mask being here makes me look really bad. Like
Okay.
really bad.
Do
I
you want the
immediately
mask? Do you
changed
want
my
it?
psionic appearance to Louis
I mean,
the
yes, I
14th.
want it.
That's what I meant this
but-
whole time. Sorry.
Yes, it needs to be kept safe.
Sorry, say that again. I got what?
Yeah, no, yes, the mask needs to be kept safe. I would love,
Okay. Do you
love
want,
to have it.
Do you want it safe here? Do you want it safe with the Duke?
Oh, it got here somehow, and I'm assuming in a not very safe manner. So,
You can probably assume it's Viridian, right?
it's
It's
Viridian.
It's great
Probably marry more.
food. It's delicious.
We should probably get back to the not psionic conversation.
Yes, this is
Very
Carluth.
good.
It's made from the wheat from a seam.
Oh, yes, I have studied up. Asim is your secondary planet in the kingdom of Drinax. That I. So,
It's a semen
would it
food.
be? Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Would it be all right if I take the mask?
Oh, Duke, I hope you understand the position I'm in and take this with all of that understanding and not any sort of affront, but I need to get the affairs in order of my house after the passing of two parents. I
Yes, of
can't
course.
promise anything right now.
Of course.
I think there's value in an alliance between us.
Well,
Drinax.
I'm afraid you are already married, and so I will have to go to the Imperial Moot where I'm expected. I imagine I'll probably stay here on the floating palace a bit longer before I leave. I'm just looking around, seeing the sights here. I'm terribly sorry for the mix-up about the engagement, and if you have Lord Terrica. Yeah, you're a very, very lucky person to have married someone of such great promise as has been described to me in the past.
I am aware.
Duke, your arrival here, was it personal or professional? Or political? Is it personal or political?
Well, I was engaged, of course, to Liege Terrica, and so I
know
came
why
here.
you're here, but I'm asking you a question about this engagement. Is it political or is it personal? Did you fly all the way out here out of love?
Oh, love is not really a thing that one takes into account when it comes to marriages. That marriages are about duty and responsibility.
Of course.
And a lot.
Love is something totally separate. That's something that...
Yes, of course. So it was political?
Yes, of course. Which...
Very well.
I thought we... Lord Terrica, you must be a great noble, I assume, from here, then.
Can I make a I know it's is it deception intellect to try to get a vibe, like read? Okay,
yes, it
I'm
is.
just gonna roll that to get a general.
Sure.
People are asking some good questions that I'm not having to ask. So I'm just gonna. Where's deception? There we go. I'm just gonna. No reason. Just gonna. Oh,
that's interesting.
Shockingly good.
What did you want to know?
I'm just seeing how truthfully he's answering these questions that Severin's just asked him, like this line of questioning, like why did you come here? Was it personal? Was it political? Because as far as I know, last I heard, he really didn't want to do this marriage thing, but he's here. So yeah, why is he here?
Well, that's a different question.
Yeah. So yeah, I just want to get it. I want to pick up on the vibes he's putting down. You know, read his body language a little bit. Not that I know it.
No,
but
not that you would
if
know
I
it
did,
ever, and you certainly have not seen him shirtless. So what I would say
What?
is that
his nipples don't lie. That's his tell his nipples.
His nips don't lie.
Yeah.
No. That's what Shira said. He reframed the answer to his question. He was like, "What do you mean?" Until so Severance asked the question one way, which was, "Why are you here?
Yeah.
Is it personal or political?" And he was like, "I don't what who what." And then Severance said, "The marriage, is it personal or political?" And he's like, "Political." He avoided answering why he was here on the planet.
Okay.
He is clearly evading things.
Yeah,
he's being
that's
evasive.
sus.
He's being evasive.
That's cool. That's cool.
He is.
He's not the only one. That's cool.
Properly.
Yeah.
He's answering properly, the way you should. Also, he is suspicious of you, my friend. You rolled your intellect deception. He is suspicious of you. He
has every right to be suspicious of me.
This?
Quint did not know that Quint should take down their circus gear before landing on Drinax.
Yeah. And you can tell he's
awkward.
if he can get you to say more things.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
He's trying to place your voice, and you have not been speaking enough, but you can tell that he's trying to, like, every time you speak, he's like, and
yeah, I'm also not
yeah,
putting
yeah.
on a fake accent because that would
No,
be
you're not.
weird.
Yeah.
When I go
Yeah.
meet the king later, apparently,
Yeah.
and he talks to us if he's there, and I suddenly
You're
talk
gonna
differently.
meet the king. Who said that?
Yeah.
The
So you can
Terrica
tell-
did before we landed.
Yeah.
We were all going
Yeah,
to meet
yeah.
the king.
Yeah.
Yeah, Terrica was like,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to. The whole crew's gonna have
Yeah.
to meet the king. So now we
Yeah.
have to have a conversation about things.
He's being
See?
deceptive. The things he's saying are true. That
Uh-huh.
this was clearly a political marriage, but
Yeah.
also you do pick
There's
up something.
there's another reason he's here. Yeah.
Maybe.
What
wants
he's
that mask.
saying is true.
What he's saying is true. The words are factual
The-
and correct.
the-
Allow me
Words
to
are
translate
factual.
trooper.
He didn't come to this place for the marriage. The marriage is
Uh-huh.
political, but he did not come here for the marriage.
Love that. Hate that.
And
Yeah.
if there is some hidden meaning to this line of questioning, then I should probably also roll.
Yes. Also, I will note this that you picked up on it because you were paying attention. Obviously,
Me?
Quint.
No.
Right, fine.
He was a bit confused about what was going on. He was clearly not briefed enough about some of these intricacies.
I know.
Oh, very nice. And
Oh,
he
nice.
was very a bit thrown off, but still very professional when he went to go and meet Terrica. And
course he
you
was.
saw, not to be rude, no personal interest in Terrica whatsoever.
Yeah. That
Rude.
checks out from what I know.
Until
Until.
until Val said that they were a liege and not a lady.
Ah.
Then like
Oh,
an eyebrow
no.
popped up as like,
Okay.
oh. Like, oh, well, that's interesting. And then,
Yeah.
but oh, spouse married. But like, there was just
Yep.
like a, oh, wait a second. Well, that's more interesting. In that moment.
Yep. Okay. I might know why. That's fine.
Say the word and I'll put poison in his drink. Just tell me. when.
He's not attracted to women, or men. Anyhow, so
That we gathered a lot of information from that.
So much.
some people might have seen him without his shirt on, so some people might know him a little bit better than other
I
people.
see.
This is not information that Severance is picking up on, though.
Some people may have seen him
truthful
without his
nipples.
pants on
I rolled
too.
the
That's
exact same thing as Quint. I should know this
Yes.
information.
No, this
Fine, I'll
is
seduce
different
him.
information.
all right.
You've not seen without his pants on.
Oh. I thought that this what these ranks in my character sheet were for.
Oh.
So I
those
can know
things are going to give you
exactly.
something different.
So I can also know the exact. I could also envision Severance. Like I
How-
mean, I was a visual
How
learner.
good he is in bed. But the thing is, yeah, so...
That's one of the funniest things we've ever said here. I'd like to roll insight. How
Yes.
good is he in bed?
What? What?
yeah, so...
Severance
Quint,
might be a little different. Yeah.
his interest was piqued once he
Getting
realized
some
that
weird
this was not
vibes
just
from
some
this
random
guy.
lady that
Oh,
he was being
yeah.
set up with. But,
Yep.
you
Cool.
know,
Cool.
moved on. But
Yep.
he clearly, and now I can tell both of you this, clearly he wants the mask.
Yep.
He wants it a bit desperately.
He's not the only one.
He is clearly here. How do I put this? He seems like he's trying to figure out how to stay here longer on the floating palace now that the
That's what I know.
both of you know this
Okay.
one.
Okay.
As like now that the marriage is off, he doesn't really have a good excuse to stay here any longer, and he seems to want to have an excuse to stay here longer. He's clearly
Interesting.
kind of trying to find a way to stall before he has to go. By the way, Drinax is really far out of the way of where the capital of the Imperium is. This is a
Sure is.
real
Big detour.
sidetrack. Big detour. Big detour.
Like
And
a year-long detour.
It's a year-long detour, and if he had to go to the Imperial Moot to go and do his business, a year-long detour ends up being 2 years. It's a long detour. So it's perhaps questionable why he's here now and not after he sort of does what he needs to do to become the Duke, take his place. I will also, he clearly feels some massive guilt about, like, when he's like, I don't think the Solomani separatists would do that. He actually does think they might have, right? He's clearly feeling some kind of terrible guilt that, like, maybe people killed his mother so that he could have the position because he's actually very pro-Solomani, that, like, this might have been his fault somehow. So he's clearly dealing with some kind of guilt about that, and you can just kind of feel it in his, like, oh, I'm sure that wasn't it. I'm sure that couldn't have been it, right? It must have been pirates, I guess. And that seems to be, like, something that he's fixating on. But he also, Severance, seems very suspicious of Quint and is trying to read Quint real hard. Like, hold on. And it's
Quint's
like every
also
time...
being kind of awkward. This is probably the most awkward you've seen Quint.
Okay, well, now I've
And
got
that's
to
a
make
free
one of
one.
these, and I got to make one of these for Quint.
No.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep. Do you want to lie, Quint?
Well, I'm trying to lie this whole time. A
Social
generic lie.
standing, social
No,
setting
it's not gonna
deception.
be. It's not going to be as great for me. I'm not as social.
Hendrix is not really trying to lie.
Oh!
Oh.
Okay.
Shocked. I'm shocked.
Oh.
I will say that's probably more
I've
for the
always-
Duke than for the crew. So Severance, you do.
Okay.
Quint is acting a little weird, for sure. Looking at the Duke a lot, but trying to not look like they're looking at the Duke a lot.
Mhm.
Quint Vesper. That was your name, right?
Yep.
Oh. Did you catch my name?
Yes, it was the Duke Caspian Hendrick. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What a fucking trap that was.
It was. Yes, it was.
That I could
Yes, it
not
was.
avoid.
Yes,
It was
was.
a trap.
It
What
was
a
a trap.
fucking.
It's a
It
trap.
was
Trap.
a trap. It was. And you say that, and he goes, "Oh." He just leans back. And
Quint knows
he's just
exactly what
looking
that
at
was
Quint.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And he
just
just leans
my
back.
whiskey glass is like is here now.
Mhm.
It's just I'm just
Harlock walks back in, has a plate of food.
nice. Perfect
Uh,
timing.
And Duke Caspian Hendricks is only looking at Quint. Doesn't even realize that Harlock just walked back in. Oh,
Where is there anywhere else to sit at the table, or like where
Oh,
is everyone?
I imagine the seat next to Quint is open.
Harlock will go sit right next to Quint.
Oh, okay. Well, you did finally find food, right? But if you're going to set down the plate, please don't set it on the map. Every piece of food has its specific place.
Sets
And if you are-
just drops the plate right there, right in front. Reaching over, grabbing a whole bunch of stuff, moving things
I'll
around.
pull out a
Not
bottle of
Captain.
Tablasto because I imagine our Tablasto supply is a little low because we haven't restocked yet. So I'll pull out a bottle of Tablasto from my cargo pants pocket that Korean gave me and just hand it to the Harlock.
No,
Um,
thank you.
how long have you been on the ship?
Oh, you're still here. Why is this person still here? Is
He's
this important right now?
fine. Yes.
If you'll excuse me, I have a person you should meet.
And I will say how long I've been on the ship. I think it's been 4 or 5 months because that took forever
Yeah,
to get here.
yeah.
6 months?
Mhm.
Took like 4
You
months
all
just
been
to
gone
get
for about
back
6 months,
here.
but like
It's about 4
5
months for
months?
me
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I
4
wasn't
months,
here
yeah.
the whole time.
Yeah.
About 4
4
months.
Oh, where have you been before then?
I was working.
Terrica will also stand up at that moment because I think they have
Also,
enough
not even
information to
notice.
like. Okay, perfect. I think what they will say though is they'll look at him and they'll say, "Let us speak at another time about the mask," and then they will leave.
He doesn't notice that you even said that. He's just looking at Quint at this moment from across the table.
then out of nowhere, Val
Love
will
it.
stand up and say, Duke, may I show you out?
He doesn't hear you for the moment. He's just looking at Quint.
I think at that, Harlock would reach right in front of Quint's face and start snapping,
Oh,
and then chewing, but like point over to Val.
I
Oh,
could show the Duke off the ship. It's fine. You can.
It's okay, Quint. I can take him out if you'd like.
It's fine. I can. I'll handle it. Quint's like got like a look of like, that was a fucking trap in the jig is up. Like I could not escape that. There's yep.
I would be honored if you would escort me off the ship. I'm so sorry, by the way, Lord Terrica. Why is your name the same name as Liege Terrica? I'm so sorry. You know what? That was inappropriate of me to ask. Customs.
A little.
So sorry. He stands up. Pleasure to meet you all. I will meet with you again. Where did Liege Terrica go?
I'll walk with you all out as well.
Oh, yes. Wonderful. Yes. And he stands up and he.
The whiskey is gone. It is gone, and then I stand up and.
And I imagine actually Val is right next to the Duke, right? Because I imagine they sat right next to each other.
Yeah, we were beside each other.
Yes. Please. So, after you.
This way, and I'll do the same thing that Val did, and take through the nice finished portions that we have redone, because I think that's just the protocol now. To if we have a guest on the ship, we take them through the nice done sections, and not the.
Val is irritated that Quint did the same thing he did without knowing that, so he doesn't like that. There is a similarity there.
So, what does Lord Terrica, what does Quint do on your lovely ship?
So many things.
Mostly the gunner.
The gunner.
I'm not here, sorry.
Gunner. That's Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Of course. You're just
I'm also backup marine should the ship ever get boarded.
Of course, sure. Okay. Lord Terrica, have you known this Soleimani gunner for long?
No.
No. I imagine you. Soleimani. Do you know the Soleimani at all? Soleimani people. They're very talented. They're very good at what they do. They are. I myself I'm Imperial, but of course I am from Soleimani stock. As Fenris, my subsector is actually quite close to Terra, the Sol sector, the home. I'm actually not. So they are very. You are very
fascinating.
lucky.
Here's the airlock.
Oh well. Okay, I suppose.
Wait. Hold on. There was somebody I wanted to meet. Professor. This is Duke of the.
You have
Imperium, yes.
you have an Imperium. Oh, you have a. Well. It's very nice to meet you, Duke of where? What Duke of where? Oh, I'm actually a Duke of.
Just wanted to
Fenris.
see this happen.
Fenris. Fenris. That's down there by Terra. Oh, that's all those terrorists down there, aren't you? Oh, no, they're not terrorists. Actually, it's it's just it's a sort of a complicated political situation there. I wouldn't call them terrorists. Well, actually, I do think, really, if you think about it, that did you?
Quint,
This has
they
been
have so
listening
much to
great.
talk
Thank
about.
you.
Let's-
Yes, and I'm going to lead the professor away.
But I
probably.
just wanted to talk to him about.
I know,
You
yes,
I
but
specialize in the
always leave them
second
wanting more, Professor. Yeah, thank you. Yes, okay.
Grain prices. And the
Yes,
Duke is like,
grain
oh, the
prices.
grain prices?
Yes, okay, wonderful. This has worked out swimmingly. This is almost too good. Thank you.
This is being let out. And he's just like looking at Quint like, I'm, oh, and then like the door shuts. And the professor's like, oh, did you know that Fenris, that's quite far away. Ooh, it's a bit of a bumpkin place, isn't it, down that way? It's not like Regina, where I'm from, closer to the core. Did I tell you? It's just,
There's
Trooper.
still a professor.
Val would like to psionically communicate with the Duke.
Please
Ooh.
make that roll.
Cool.
It's a 10.
Run away.
Let
to
me
the
check. I
Terrica.
don't think that will be good enough.
What about
Let me
16?
double. I think you might need a 12, but let me just check, because he is not psionic. And so in order to communicate with a non-psionic
It's not
person,
psionic.
the roll goes from 4 to not 4. Send thoughts. It's a 10. Spend 2 points. You can send a thought, but he cannot send back.
Can I do anything to make it so he can send back?
No, but you can read his thoughts. So you can send it,
Okay.
and then you can read his thoughts.
So it
Yeah.
takes
So if he
2
thinks in response to your questions or saying, you'll be able to know what that is.
Sure. As soon as the door
It's like
closes,
he can't lie.
right. As soon as the door closes,
The professor's
Val's
talking,
gonna make-
by the way.
right.
Yeah.
Val
I'm
doesn't-
ignoring him
Val has
completely.
learned not to
I'm
listen
just-
to him at all
Whoop.
anyway. So Val
I
is going to
tried
make sure
to lead
that
the professor away. I don't know if
everybody is shut off. Val is
Yeah.
going to make sure that like the Harlock's not in there. Nobody's in the party line anymore.
Ends the party call, starts this call.
And again,
Yeah.
Val thinks the Harlock's gone. I don't know. Val's not nearly as psionic, obviously, as the Harlock. So the
The
Harlock
Harlock-
could still be there.
The
So I
Harlock
don't
is
know.
never gone.
I'll just leave that up to the powers that be. So, Val would appear to him in the denim outfit with the cowboy hat on. There is an Aslan woman being held by the Imperium. If you want the mask, I want her released. And then he disappears.
Roll your read surface thoughts. You need an 8. And also spend 2 more side points.
I also need to know where the hell Reed surface thoughts is. What's that? Is that psionics or?
Yeah, it's telepathy. It's just right above.
It's telepathy.
Okay.
Yeah. It's telepathy.
It's a
Telepathy is great, because people who don't have psionic power don't really have a lot of.
8.
You got an 8. Nice.
That's what you needed. So here's the thing about read. If you're not psionic, you really have you have 0 defenses from any of these things.
Yep.
Really, kind of sucks if you're not psionic, which is why people are nervous around psionicists. And so you can only read the current and active thoughts. There's like probing into people's minds to get their subconscious, but that's not what you're doing. That's more difficult. He is not going to know that you're doing this because he's defenseless against you. And you hear him, like, you see him, like, and at this moment you see him in his mind, and he's wearing, like, actually, like, a, sort of like the equivalent of a tuxedo, like as if he were at a ball, and a nice white jacket. And he is standing in what looks to be like the garden of an estate somewhere. And he's looking completely confused. And he's like, Aslan woman held in Imperial space? Like, what Aslan woman? Imperial space is huge. I mean, but... and then he says this, because he does not know that you're reading his thoughts. He says, I wanted to get the mask to protect the quintessential Viridian, but they're here. What are they doing here? I mean, they're wanted for murder. People are out to... Why? And then, very tricky, this guy, in his inner thoughts, knowing that nobody is listening to him, he goes, I'm pretty sure I covered pretty well. I don't think I gave it away who he was. So I don't think any of them on the ship know.
Can I hear all that? I can handle that, right?
Oh yes, you're in his mind.
Yes.
You
Then
can be.
Val-
So
You've
can
got
I.
him for quite
Right.
some time in his mind.
Then Val says to him, "We know every fucking thing that you're doing. We know that you're here for the mask. You were terrible at what you just did. You need to play poker more. You might
By
as
the way,
well have
he's
just shown us
standing
your
outside
asshole."
of the ship. He's standing
Nipples,
outside
damn
of the
it.
ship in
Nipples,
the bazaar,
excuse me.
just
Yeah.
looking completely confused because he's hearing conversation in his head, and people are like, "I wonder what he's doing." What was the last thing that you said?
Nipples,
Right before the nipples.
asshole.
Right before the asshole.
We know what you were doing.
Well, I got that part. I need to play poker better.
You need to play poker better. Yes. It's basically like you showed us your asshole, is what I said. And then I was corrected and I made nipples. And so nipples is,
Yeah.
is what it ended
Yes,
up
yes.
being.
And he's standing looking like a numpty out there in public, and people are walking by him like, "What's this guy doing?" And he's like, you can hear him think, are you hearing me?
Yes.
Um,
You're a pilgrim in an unholy land, my friend.
Listen, tell who you called Quint, tell them that people are coming for them.
What do you mean?
They're wanted for murder and theft of the mask. They're wanted, and not just by the Soleimani government, but by the Cirque. That's bad.
Really?
Yeah.
Val probably even smiles psionically. That's awful.
Listen, you have to keep their secret. If the Cirque finds him, it will be terrible.
Terrible's okay. Terrible's good.
No.
Terrible's our trade.
No. The Cirque are not just... There are rumors. The Cirque aren't just dancers and performers, but there's a secret part of them that are also assassins. That's what they say, and if Quint's in trouble. Quint, that's what you call them? Trouble. Real trouble. Because they're really good.
How can you help?
Was gonna try and steal the mask so that the evidence wouldn't be there. I thought if I could take it back, that I could say that Quint was dead. I killed him, and would stop looking. I just wanted to see them again one last time. Also, it's the first time I saw them before.
Where? At the Cirque?
No, I never saw their face. So handsome.
Harlock, are you in here too? You
The
are,
Harlock
right?
is not there. The Harlock would need to break in.
I think
I
we
would-
were already
Yeah.
connected though.
But
I would
this was
say
a
Val would
private
know
line.
that.
I mean,
I'm okay with. I'm perfectly fine with it if the Harlock's
Okay,
there.
as long as you're fine with it, because you'd have to.
100% fine.
Okay, then go ahead.
There's no way that Val is anywhere fucking near the Harlock, so the Harlock can be anywhere that she wants to be. So,
Well, if Val wouldn't have if it would have to be another role and Val wouldn't have wanted her there, I don't know that she would have necessarily.
Yeah. Go ahead.
no, again,
But if
Greg
it's-
super wants you there. Val would not
Yeah.
want you there, but Greg
Oh,
adores you.
I would
there.
love to be there. Like,
Yes,
would
you're
you
there.
do-
Harlock is going to be everywhere at all times whenever possible.
right, right behind you, right?
Right.
Fuck.
Right, just.
Yeah.
But yes.
Then in that moment when he's talking about basically love at first sight, you know, not knowing, so handsome. In his psionic form, you would see that Val would actually relax, that his guard would drop, visibly drop. Like he's buying into this a little bit.
Hello?
I tell you what. This is a test.
Okay.
If you are who you say you are, then act that way. Don't betray my friend. And if you are here to help, as you say that you are here to help, I'll give you a chance.
All right.
But if you try to hurt them, any of them, there will be a reckoning.
Listen,
Am I clear?
I need you to know, if you hurt the quintessential Viridian, the entire weight of the Imperium will come down upon you. I hope you understand that.
It can only be heavy if I see it as such. Fuck your Imperium.
Could you give them a book of poetry that I brought?
No.
Come on.
If you play your cards right, you can give it to them yourself.
Well, will you give them a message for me? Tell them I'm in the ambassadorial suites and they can come visit me if they want. Also, tell them that I figured it out and just tell them that I miss them and that I didn't believe it.
Duke, as stupid as it is for me, I actually believe some of the things that you're saying. So I will give you this. Your mother was killed. Lady Hill was killed. Lord Hill was killed. You are no longer scheduled to be married to Liege Terrica. Watch your fucking back.
He looks completely relieved at that. If there's and like he would not have let that slip, that he was relieved that he didn't have to marry some rando, but you're in his mind right now and you can just see this like relief of not having to marry the rando. No disrespect, like, and like then he realized, like, he was like, he's not quite certain if you can see him, right? He's like, he's not quite certain how this works, right? And he's like, hope, and then you can hear him like, I hope he didn't see me.
I saw everything. I'm watching
No
it
disrespect.
right now. No, I'm taking.
And in public, he looks around, but I'm going now. He doesn't. He is not actually moving in real space because he really has no idea what this looks like. Well, all right, I'm going. So just give him the message for me. Okay. Well,
Find the Aslan woman for me.
what? There are a lot of
My back is itchy, as is yours.
Imperial space is huge, and that's very vague. Can you?
Trooper, I know that Val knows where this is, but Greg doesn't. So Greg needs you to remind Greg of where Val needs to tell this person where this place is.
Yes. Also, you could give the name for our Aslan woman, who I don't think we've ever had.
Referring to the Aslan woman who served us in episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I am.
correct.
As a matter of fact, that is correct. I am indeed.
It's a big tree now from the sea.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I believe it is. I believe that they said that they had her held in Imisa, which is the Imperial planet that has a naval base just right over the border. Just right over the border. Like, you could just fly there yourself. So close. So close.
Yeah, but I don't do
what a
that type
great-
of stuff. That's
What a
grunt work.
great
I need.
idea.
I need grunts.
I'm calling Uber Parole right now to see if they will deliver.
He's like, all right, and what is her name?
Did we give her a name? Did I give her a
Nope.
name?
Nope. She's always been the Aslan woman.
Then her
Mittens.
name.
Mittens.
Nala.
Her name is Mittens,
No.
right? No, I'm trying to think of something that doesn't sound at all Aslan.
Yes, that's right.
Jennifer.
Where's my pen?
Margaret. But she
Margaret.
goes by Maggie.
That's not very Aslan. Okay. Just. Well, it'll take me. Oh, and then what? Bring her here?
You catch on quick. For a duke.
Subsector Duke. I will have to
Sorry.
negotiate with that subsector Duke and find out what's going on. I can do my best, but I suppose it depends on what that was about. But I'll do my best. I would
I'll
prefer
leave that up
not
to you, Duke.
I mean, I would prefer not to leave until after I could see the quintessential Viridian. If that would
Again,
be
my back
possible.
is itchy. If you scratch it, I'll figure out a reason for you to stay.
And that's when your seconds cut off, because your telepathy only lasts a certain amount of time and it cuts off. And he was about to say something, but he...
In that space, then, I think as Val it realizes that he's alone in there for a second,
Yeah.
he would stop and look around and maybe just whisper, Harlock? Good.
And in that moment...
And in the real space, Quint is
Yeah.
just slid like back down on the other side of the door and is just like having a moment. Not realizing that the Duke is still standing on the other side.
I believe at this moment, the only person who would be near you would be
Wow.
Terrica.
Oh, Terrica.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Hey,
are you okay?
why wouldn't they be?
Because one of your, what was it, 3 friends in this world
Yeah.
just walked through the door and you acted like you didn't know him? And clearly he figured out who you were. Are you
He
okay?
only knew me as the cirque performer. He never saw me without the mask on. Well, yeah, he never saw me without the mask on. Not really.
Wow. You didn't answer my question.
I don't know.
Okay.
I will be. I just don't know what to say. He knew a different person.
Yeah.
He didn't know I was a soul-sick spy, spying on him, trying to get close because that was my assignment.
Oh, that's awful.
He didn't know I was sent away to become an Imperial scout. I'm surprised he didn't say anything about the arm. I asked
Do
what my
you trust
role on
him?
the ship was, and I said the gunner, and he laughed. So
I imagine Gunnar is a pretty far sight from being in Cirque du Soleimani.
he didn't know I was in the Navy before the Cirque. Most people join the Cirque very, very young.
Oh, okay. Sorry,
They-
I don't know a whole lot about it.
No, it's fine. Not many people do. Those who do, most people don't get into the Cirque if they're past the age of 12, 13, 14, 15. The cutoff age is 22, but it's very rare someone makes it in adulthood. I was one of the lucky few. So I had some naval experience, which is how I know how to gun.
Congratulations, I guess. Sounds
It was
like
a
rough life.
paycheck.
Why don't you talk to him? Do you trust him?
Part of me thinks I shouldn't, but I do.
Sometimes
It's the same part of me that doesn't want to trust anyone, though, because, well, anything you say could get reported to SoulSec at any time, but I know we're not in Solomon space anymore, so it's just a hard habit to break.
We're not. But I understand that feeling of not wanting to trust anyone. And Terrica will like slide down beside Quint so that they're sitting kind of side by side against the door with their arm like against Quint. And they'll just say, you know, sometimes it's just better to talk to somebody when they mean a lot to you, because sometimes the way that you think things are isn't actually the way that things are. And if you just have a conversation, you know, you can maybe save some time with them. So you might still have time, you know?
I don't know how to tell him that the only reason I approached him in the first place was because it was an assignment. That maybe his mother is dead because of my work.
No, I'm pretty sure that Mary Moore killed his mother.
This Mary Moore collects Viridian too, no?
Yes.
How do we think my mask got here?
Probably Mary Moore.
Isn't it convenient that he was prepping a bunch of clones of you and that your fiancé is here right now?
That's why I think it's him.
So, he sends me off so Caspian doesn't have a reason to stay, so that he can get my mask. Kills Caspian's mother, so he has to come out here. Marry you. He had to know someone in SoulSec to get the mask, to get me away. He has to have connections there.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I was the only one on the Hendrick's assignment. I reported lots of things because I didn't want to report about the Cirque. So
Terrica will like put their arm around.
It probably made it
Quint.
easier to blow up your ship if you had that information.
And as long, like, assuming Quint is not like rejecting the hug or anything like that, like Terrica
No, Quint would
would
accept the.
And then they would just say,
I also
look,
the mask here is bad. I know I said it quickly, but I was convinced that no one would believe that I killed Emma, because that would be absurd. But she was probably holding on to my mask after taking my place after I went missing, so I'm also the reason she got killed.
Oh, Quint, you cannot.
If the mask disappeared, they are going to think that I stole the mask and left with it. I thought they would definitely be on my side, but if the mask is gone, I am suspect number one.
Okay, so, and Terrica will stand up and take off their
So not
Diplo
only
vest, and they're gonna hand it over to Quint, and they're gonna say, okay, so you've probably got assassins after you.
Yes, probably.
If it's not Mary Moore, then
no, Mary Moore thinks I am dealt with, I would assume. Chop off my arm. I cannot go back to Cirque space. Get framed for murder. There's no way I can go back into Solomani sector at all.
Okay. But earlier you said assassins.
You can't tell anyone this. It's
No,
really a big security. In fact, you're not even supposed to know that I was the quintessential Viridian, but I mean, things have
Quint,
escalated.
I'm not gonna tell anybody.
The Cirque has assassins. It's more than just this Cirque. They also handle, well, they influence certain events and politics, we could say.
Yeah, I know.
I'm pretty sure I was a candidate for the next one. That's ironic, isn't it?
Sorry.
It's fine. It's laughable.
Yeah,
I guess I just don't want him to hate me after he finds out that I'm the reason for so many of our mutual woes.
I understand.
I approached him as the job, but I did grow rather fond of him.
He's very fond of you. Quint, your options right now are to lose him or to maybe be able to spend some more time with him. And if you wait, there may not be more time. This is your time. This is where you can at least offer him the chance.
Should I give him time to process I also chugged a lot of whiskey. I mean, that should be fine, though.
I mean, well, you should maybe not go drunk, but
maybe that would be better. I don't know.
I couldn't say. I don't get drunk that often.
I don't make a habit of it, but it just sounded really good when he walked through the door.
Yeah,
He put me in a fucking trap. Did you see that? He had me say his name.
I was wondering.
I can't not do it. He is the very high-ranking here, and I am not.
You have to. You have to. Yeah, you can't just say no, thank you.
Oh, thank you, punk. No. I see your little trap. It's not going to work. Then if I said that, I would know, and then
then you'd absolutely be outed.
Your parents were both just killed today. Do you need me here on the ship right now?
No, but I do need... You have recording devices, right?
I have some bugs, yes.
Can I have one? Something subtle that can stream to somewhere else?
They're pretty small, so the streaming range is limited. Okay. But one of my button-sized ones that should be able to transmit at least a couple of rooms away.
Just that. I just need that.
All right. Let's go get that. And you mentioned framing someone for their murders. Should I have a description so I can assist in any framing? I did see the glint. Also, I don't know if we told you, but I'm pretty sure the Harlock and I did kill the assassin.
Oh, you did?
The one that was hired to kill you. Yes.
I assume at this point
they were engaged in a psionic battle with the Harlock, and I helped out because wounds were appearing, but there was no weapons. I have the darts, and I have like a Ziploc bag of darts. And actually, I realized I have a powerful platinum magnet, so I'd have magneted the darts out, so there's no fingerprints on them.
Smooth.
Here's a Ziploc bag. This is I used a flechette pistol. If you need it to help plant evidence on whoever it is you're trying to frame, put it in their quarters or something. Here's the darts that work. It still has the blood. I haven't cleaned them off yet.
I imagine
you could use the
now
flechette pistol too. But I want a new flechette pistol if you have to use mine. It's a good weapon.
Okay. Thank you. I don't know yet. I just
here just in case. I've cleaned it really well, and I pull it out with like a piece of fabric. I'll wrap it up.
Terrica will
in case you need to plant it on something. Don't touch it yourself.
It'll be the most awkward, tuck into their pocket. Terrica doesn't know how to handle firearms in the first place. So
the safety is on. It's fine.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
shoots metal darts, silent weapon. You could say that whoever you want to be guilty, they use it to silence the assassin, so the assassin wouldn't be able to talk.
Okay. That will be, I think, good because and
Do you
Terrica, because
believe-
we're still
Weapon marks that will be on them.
You're in the. I believe you're in the. You're up top, right? Or you're in the hold. Where are you at?
We were at the hold where we would have
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
escorted Duke Hendricks, and we've been working our way up to my quarters, probably at me and Wesley's room now.
Yeah.
To get
Okay.
the bug for Terrica.
By the way, that does mean that the Harlock and also Severance, you see them come up the lift, right? They have because you're in the galley, so you see them come up the lift. These two.
Both look a little emotional. It's fine.
Thanks. And Terrica will flash a picture into Quint's mind because we're still psionically connected, right? So they'll flash a picture into Quint's mind of Ruby.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, it looks like Sue.
Yeah. Yeah. it
'Kay.
does.
I'll get the
Speaking
bug.
of where is Sue? And Terrica will say, Sue? Like out
So,
loudly.
At this point, I get myself all my peoples here. At
Yeah.
this point,
I just get
Sue,
the bug.
Terrica just calls out Sue.
Okay.
Terrica and Quint are right at the door to their quarters. The Harlock and Severance are up in the galley, so they're right next to each other. Val, you are at the hold door, right? Because you had escorted him out, and they've gone up. So imagine you're coming in, and in the comms you can just hear Sue, and the computer comes on saying, "I'm afraid that unit is not currently installed on this computer. How may I help you?"
Terrica will jump into psionic space and try and connect with Sue, and with a very this isn't that. The last time they saw Sue, he did something to protect Val, and they know that they made Sue corporeal in a space where Sue had just said he could get hurt, and so now they're worried.
Can I give you the bug?
Yeah, perfect. So I think
I
Terrica's
turn it-
pinning it on as they were like Sue, they're pinning it on, and then the psionic is
I'm going to need a roll from you.
What kind of roll? Telepathy?
Psionic. You're going to have to give me what do you have in terms of talents?
I have teleportation, awareness, telepathy, and true liege.
Mm-hmm.
True liege.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Please roll. I think the best thing here is going to have to be telepathy.
Okay. Just with psionic strength?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You reach out.
Yeah.
You don't feel anything. But all of you hear Terrica call for Sue, and the computer responds saying, "I'm sorry, that unit is not currently installed."
I know we're right at the cusp of time.
Yep.
But I want Terrica to teleport to the balcony.
Ooh. I have dividends, so you can at least play it while you're there.
Roll your teleportation. Val, I imagine you're now up at the top of the lift. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's heading for the suit.
I'm going to drop some luck into that, whatever luck I need to be able to not die.
Well, it depends on whether you want to be naked or not.
It's true. That's what happens in this game.
Let's not have Terrica be naked.
You need a 10.
Okay, 4 luck. I'll drop 4 luck to not be naked.
No, 6 luck.
6 luck.
6 luck. Sorry, you're right. I have 4. 6 luck.
But you only have 4 luck, right? How much luck do you have?
No,
oh, you're a high
I have
luck
9
person.
luck. I have
Yeah,
9
Yeah,
luck.
You're a
Terrica
high
has
luck.
a shit ton of
Yeah.
stupid
Yeah.
luck. And it's
Yeah.
dang.
Mm-hmm.
Did you bring enough for everyone?
Everyone, you see Terrica teleport out.
Okay.
Wait, for a point of reference, where would Terrica be when they teleport out?
They're in the hallway. Like you've come up the
Okay, so Val
lift.
would come right. Okay, I want to know if I can see this.
You can because the doors have opened because you've come up the lift, right? The doors have opened, and then you see Terrica and Quint at the door to Quint's room that they share with
Wesley.
And in the galley, because it's like you can kind of see around this hallway, and so from the galley you can see it as well. And when you open the doors, you see, and then there's Terrica, and Terrica just teleports away.
Well, as they're teleporting away, then Val would realize exactly what they're doing, and would start screaming, "No, no!" It just charging towards them, trying to disrupt it, trying to do anything he can to stop them from going. But obviously fails.
And as we end the session, Terrica, it's night. It's very dark. And you're on the balcony. The doors are closed and locked. And you can see, because with those nice windows, right? And you can see inside that room. If you remember, there's like a really nice room in there. There was like a side door. There was like doors that would lead out. There was a side that led off to some kind of side room. And there was that sort of nice, sort of like a living room kind of space. And the room itself is somewhat dim. And from the outside, they can't really see you, but you can see in. And you see Ruby. He's not wearing a shirt, because that would just get blood on it. And he's sitting smoking a cigar. You can see the kind of the cherry of the cigar as he inhales. His two friends that he brought are there, seated. They're armed. And you see Val. And Val also does not have a shirt on. And he's on his knees, and he's handcuffed to the banister. And you can see that his back is completely riddled with blood. And he's hanging. He's on his knees, but his arms are higher up on the banister. It's like a column, you know what I mean? Like a column. And he's hanging, he's sort of just limp, and it looks like he has been beaten within the inch of his life, but not one blow would be seen were he wearing a shirt. He seems to be unconscious. As Ruby sits, and he's got a lot of chest hair, and there's just blood caked on it a little bit, sort of looks dry, as he's drinking a small glass of whiskey and smoking a cigar, as Sue, looking like Val, is unconscious and hanging from this column. And that is where we end it for tonight.
Oh no.
You get a little bit of a sense of what maybe Val has gone through in his life in this moment.
Oh no.
That is the end of our session.
Good golly.
Holy cow.
Ruby doesn't like it when you disobey him at all. And you only do it once, you know?
Yeah.
So, I'm afraid Sue has not been able to come back to the ship recently. He's been busy. Let's do our outros. And let us start with Cord. Cord, who are you? Where can we find you next? And please give some love.
All right.
Oh my god.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Cord. I'm not really streaming these days. I'm super busy with work and stuff, but I will be streaming soon. probably on my channel, or I'll be making another one for forging. I've been doing a lot of forging and blacksmithing lately, and just building things in my workshop, and I wanted to share that all with you, so that's probably going to happen at some point. I'm on socials, find me as Mythomatic, but yeah, this was awesome. Really great episode. I wasn't sure where we were gonna go. I thought we were going to maybe go to the, and then I was like, oh, we're going to the surface today, and then I was like, oh wait, never mind, and then I was completely reminded that we were not, and we had this entire the betrothed guy showing up, the Duke showing up at our door. So that was a lot of fun.
The surface sooner or later. I know.
Yeah,
I prepared for it. I prepared for the surface.
And I just completely just forgot that that's where we left off last time. So that was very exciting to be like, oh yeah. But yeah, great episode. I had a lot of fun. I know that like I almost said Mary Moore. Severance isn't doing a lot in the last couple of episodes, but being there everyone is important, and being involved in these scenes, and sometimes just even this guy looking and recognizing Mary Moore. I'm sorry, wow, I keep saying that. Severance is a...
Well, that time he recognized Mary Moore, so...
Yeah, that's true. Right, that time he recognized Mary Moore
before.
Right.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I wonder why. So it's just like those sort of things that make me go, uh-oh. And then I was like, uh-oh, now I'm worried. Anyway, it's just really cool stuff. My love today goes to Lindy. Lindy, your the portrayal of Quint today, and we got to see a lot of Quint today, and a lot of what Quint usually doesn't show us, which was really cool, because it was almost like we lifted a mask off of Quint, and it was just really cool to see that. And thank you for lifting that and letting us see behind their mask, and letting us see this the depth of emotion that they may be running from, which is really freaking cool. So that was super exciting. I can't wait for you to try to pitch meeting the king again, because that's never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. I don't trust it. But it was, yeah, that's my love today. Great job. And I am so enthralled by what's happening now when it comes to, because there was a part where I as Severance, I tune out, also Cord, I tune out some stuff on purpose, so the meta of certain scenes don't bleed into what Severance knows. So sometimes I'm like, could somebody remind me who knows this information? I do. Okay, great. All right, perfect. Do I know that? No. Okay, great. Thank you. I just have to remember, because I know that the audience knows, and the narrative knows, but I have to be reminded, okay, what is Severance? Severance knows that. And yeah, so that being said, there was a point where what I really liked about tonight too, besides my love going to Lindy, but the rest of us, when we had that scene where we were all together, and the total improv, everybody had their separate plan on how to deal, and still is going. We still have no idea what to do with this guy, and we still have our own separate plan. And we're all trying to figure out
murder.
Right. Not even that. I mean, I think that was the first where we're like, let's kill this guy. But then we're like, wait a minute. So, but it's really hard, because it seems like there's this what is it, murmuration? This undulating fluidity of everybody's plans that are shifting and changing about how to deal with him. Oh wait, maybe we could sort of get him onto our side. Okay, maybe we should kill him. Okay, no, but I think actually that's a good point. But what's great is we, as performers and actors, don't know what we can read, and we can assume, but we can only pick that up through each other's performance and characters and what their characters are doing. But we're having a really we even had that small moment where we had that meta, everybody into the council room, everybody into the psychic space, where we got to have that moment. I wish that moment was longer. But that was a great little tease we had. But the rest of the time, we jumped back into the scene, and I was like, okay, I'll try to fix this. I think I know what we want, right? We want to keep this guy around. I'll go get the professor. And then it's wait, what are we doing? Then I'm seeing Val try to shoo him off the ship, and I'm like, oh, okay, we don't know what we're doing. Yeah, it was just we're not on the same page. This is great. It was just really fun to sort of see that, just see like,
Yeah.
I guess that's really what it comes down to is like, we are
Yeah.
all on different pages, but trying to like see the farce of it, like this diplomatic farce of us trying to be like, what are you planning? What are we doing, guys? Here we go. It was really a lot of fun to perform in and to just sort of watch and be a part of. So that was a lot of fun. At one point, I wanted to have a double marriage. I was like, hey, what if we just, it seems like this guy's very interested in you, Quint. And if that's the case, then maybe we have a double marriage and he doesn't leave single. And that is probably still what Severance thinks. Because I think that would be hilarious. And I think he probably thinks that that would be a wholesome way to
Yeah,
get
but
everybody happy.
he's a subsector Imperial Duke. He can't marry
A nobody.
a wanted criminal. That's not
That
what
too.
marriages are for.
Well,
Am I wanted in
in the
Imperial space?
Imperium, yeah, but here everyone's noble.
But he is Imperium. That's what Terrica's been panicking about this whole time. Is that
But we're in Drinax and at the
That's
and in the station and
Every time
everyone's
my
a
dad's
noble.
an Imperial scout. To be as much
hey
as-
So-
Raiders?
Hey, Raiders,
Mhm.
how are you? Yeah, that whole marriage to Terrica
Who's
was
rating
a
us? I was in the
wonderful
middle of
marriage.
saying my shout outs. How dare
Yeah.
you?
Please go ahead. Please go ahead. Hello, Booster Greg.
How dare you, Greg? I was
Welcome in.
talking. Hi, everybody. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. All right. Well,
He dares.
that's it. I love you all, and just thank you, Lindy, and thank you everybody for that wonderful that moment of the dinner table farce of what do we do about this guy? And I just thought it was great, and we have that a lot. I feel like there's a lot of times where we meet someone and we're like, "Are we all on board of killing? No, we're not
Just kill this guy?
killing.
Kill this person?
Should we?"
And
Yeah,
they're
and
like,
it's really
I'm the
great.
Avon lady? And they're like, kill
Yeah,
the Avon
and
lady?
there's like a one or like two line. Right, yeah. Remember that time I went ahead and killed that pirate queen and we all got mad? Are we still? There's always like one or two lines that are dropped in our DMs, but it's not enough information to be like, do you still think we should kill this guy? It's always like, ha ha ha. And like, we're joking in our DMs a lot more than we are actually planning any ideas. So like in character,
Absolutely.
we still have no idea
100%.
what is happening, and it's hilarious. Anyway,
Uh,
thank you everybody. That was great. That's it. That's me.
Speaking about knowing what's happening, or not knowing what's happening, or probably being able to guess what's happening, Greg, I bet your character can guess what's happening to Sue. Greg, who are you? Where can we find you next? And give some love.
Hi, everybody. My name is Greg. Thank you, Booster Greg, for the raid. And I played Dr. Valentine Val Morrissey here on the Pirates of Drinax at the Academic Foxhole. That Trooper, my love goes to you tonight because everybody did a fantastic job as always. Incredibly moving moments, especially from the scene with Lindy and Ari was really, really good. I thought it was excellent. But buddy, the description of I get a little choked up. The description of what was going on with Sue was good. It's what it needed to be. And I just want to say all my love for the chat. And, I love playing here. I love all of these people so incredibly much. This is the safest table I've ever played. For those of you that have played in bad tables, you know how important that is. And I appreciate that safety, and I appreciate that ability to play with friends and to be able to say things that need to be said. So I love you all very much. Thank you.
Speaking of much love, I think I have to pass it over to Rocket. Rocket, who are you? Who are you playing? And please give some love.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. It is I, Rocket Fox, your second favorite person. And I play the Harlock. And as far as places, I'm around. Look me up. If you are in my area of Missouri at the last couple weekends in October, I'm going to be in the Scottish play, so come check me out. We're going to be in Hannibal, Missouri, about an hour out from where I am, so that's going to be a drive. But yeah, as far as love goes, yeah, Greg took mine, so I will try not to strike him down when he least expects it. But I do have to say, Trooper switching between two characters back to back is just chef's kiss. Love that every single time. Yes, and all of the characters being so distinct as well. I know I say it a lot, but that's wild in the best of ways. And then I also have to give a lot of love to Ari for that final hour choice. Like just the image of Val kind of coming out and running down and being like, oh shit, no, and them disappearing is, because who knows, we'll join us again next week when we find out what happens. So that a lot there, but like Ari always making some choices that could have some pretty dark ramifications, and I super appreciate that.
Just note there are 2 armed people and a ruby there. I mean,
No, I heard,
Sure,
I saw. I'm
sure it'll be fine. It'll be great.
I'm nervous.
might want to contemplate if you want to go in there.
And Terrica gave Quint their Diplo vest.
Yep.
You did.
I'm sure that this will be great. So that's me.
Speaking of things being great, I would like to shout out to pass it over to Ari. Who are you? Where can we find you? Give some love and the great situation you're in right now.
I'm actually very worried about this situation that Terrica's in right now. Hi, I'm Ari _Ventures. You can find me here live in Seattle. Let's see, tomorrow is closing night of I Saw You, which is all about missed connections and what might have happened if those connections hadn't been missed. So if you're in Seattle, join us. And then there's something else coming on the horizon that I don't think I can announce yet. But if you're in the Seattle area in December, there will be something interesting happening. Okay. So love, there's so much love for everybody tonight. What I ended up doing though is I wrote down specific quotes or like moments that people said, because there were quite a few tonight that really stuck out to me. One was, Fox, when you had the Harlock say, "I do not whisper when I speak." Yes. I was just like, oh, that's such a good line, like just beautiful. And then Cord, when you had Severance have like a sparkly mole on his face for like Louis, like it was just these are like the quintessential like peeks into all of these characters and just beautiful choices. And then Quint's like, when we're in the mind space, the first thing out of their mouth is like, "That's my fucking mask," right? Like, I did not expect Quint to lose his cool that fast, and yet, like, they totally did, and I loved it. I was here for that. And then the whole like spilling of the beans. Anyway, and then there were a couple for you tonight, Greg, but the one I settled on is "Terrible is our trade," because I was like, that's so true for Val, and also like a lot of these folks on Drinax. And then, so the 2 ones that I had written down were already said earlier for you, Trooper. One was the professor and the Duke, like switching back and forth between them. Honestly, like I cannot, like, you do just such a fantastic job. It's all I can do to have one character in my brain, in my head, in my body, and you flip back and forth between them with like ease that makes it just so beautiful. And then the visual description at the end of what we're seeing through the balcony window, so vivid. And like both of these things speak to how your ability to be able to like flesh out characters and worlds in this really real, amazing, fantastic way. There were 1,000 quotes for you tonight, and I didn't write a single one of them down because I got distracted by the professor and the Duke, and here we are. But I love all of you guys so much. Chat, you're amazing. I want to like rewatch this episode just so that I could catch everything that happened in chat while I was like on screen, because I'm not great at hopping between the two. But you guys are so much fun, and I'm delighted that you're here, and I'm delighted that I get to say hi every week. Till next time.
Oh, speaking of people who like chat, I feel like we have to talk about Lindy now. Lindy, I'm just trying to do like your awkward transitions. I've not gotten to a lewd part yet, so I'm really not as good as you. I have to get there. I will get there sooner or later.
Just take whatever the last, like, one of the random 5 words that last came out of their mouth, and then be like, oh no, this is the worst, but I'm already saying it. Why, me? Why?
So, Lindy, who are you? Where can we find you? And give some love.
Hi, I'm Lindy, Laugh Love Lindy. I'm gonna give my love first because I don't want to forget anything. I loved the Harlock pouring the tea for the prince and giving the guard the like the no, just like how fucking dare you, guard? Like, we were both nobility here. I mean, I guess he is too because this is Drinax, but at the same time, it's like, you should have served the tea, but you already backed away now. Don't you dare come back over here. I loved that. I loved the attitude with just how the Harlock served the tea. Harlock served the tea tonight, and it was great. I really enjoyed Val once he realized that, like, Duke Hendricks has got it bad. He's crushing hard, and he was kind of like, oh, I feel bad for this guy, but at the same time, I'm definitely gonna use this. I loved that of being like, oh, he's got it bad. Let's use that. It was just a fun moment of like a moment of humanity immediately followed by a different kind of humanity. If you don't even know what I mean. I loved it. The duality of man. I loved just how awkward that dinner was. And how Terrica like was trying to help a bit, but at the same time, like, I thought you said you two knew each other. Like, why are you guys acting like you don't? I'm confused because Quint never thought we'd run into this guy in the Reach, the Trojan Reaches, so Quint thought it would never be a problem. So I loved Terrica's confusion there, and then being like, hey, maybe you should go talk to him afterwards. That was nice. And of course, Severance. I love how into Drinaxian food he is, and just being like,
I am.
Yes, no, it's this unique spices, and I just loved how into the dinner he was, and how he had no idea what to do with the Duke. Like, are we killing him? Are we keeping him? Are we like trying to get a read, and then actually rolling a really good roll to read.
Yeah.
And be like, this is weird. Why is it so weird? Like, because you got figured out that it was weird, but you had no idea why. And I loved it. I can't wait for more.
Both Severance and I for that entire scene.
I loved it. It was delightful.
Why is this weird?
Why is this weird? Why is this so weird?
But you don't know about the pants dance part. That's all. You don't know about the pantsless dance. No pants dance, you don't know it. Nope.
The horizontal tango.
Nope.
With no pants. And Trooper, my love for you. And I loved you being like, he sees the circ equipment, and me realizing, fuck, the circ equipment's still just hanging out there because I didn't know he was on this planet. I thought that was fabulous because that wasn't not in any of the rumors I heard while walking around. Otherwise, I would have gone immediately to the ship and like stripped everything down and been like, I'm hiding, I'm not coming out. So I just loved the way you were able.
I know those knots.
Yeah,
I know those.
Basically.
Wait, what?
This looks really familiar. The color too, weird. And I also loved how you were able to play Duke Hendricks in a way that made Quint like, I want to talk to you, but at the same time, what do I even say? Because like, this is a rough situation. I am a different person now.
And he's like, wait, so you're I shouldn't let anybody know that I know who you really are, because what if you're hiding from them too? So
Yep, and it was way too obvious that he did that. So, but it's okay. He tried real hard. He was too Twitter-pated. And I can't wait for all the ramifications of what happens next week, because it seems like people are gonna be leaving the ship, and I don't know. I'm sure it'll be fine. It'll be great. You can find me online in the meanwhile at LaughLoveLindy, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, etc. Next week we have next week. I'm like, what? When is it? Our bi-weekly Monday and Tuesday tabletop game, D&D game. We've got Critical Role's Call of the Netherdeep. We're deep in the Nethers. It's getting intense. We're saving Alan, who apparently his name is Elixian, and we've just been butchering it the entire campaign. We could have called him Alex, but we latched on to Alan real hard, and now we refuse to call him anything else. And in Tuesday's Ghost of Saltmarsh campaign, which I GM, shit's also gonna be bad. I mean, it'll be fine. There's no reason that there's a 10,000 gold coin reward to just get this one box from this one ship that shouldn't have anybody on it. I'm sure it's safe and fine, and they'll be great. And on Wednesday we had our penultimate episode of Good Society. We weren't sure it was going to be the finale, but it was our penultimate episode on Wednesday, so it will be our finale on Wednesday.
Yep.
More people might die. There is 100% going to be at least one funeral and an indeterminate number of weddings.
I thought it was going to be more
Just like in this game.
number of funerals, actually.
I mean, indeterminate funerals and weddings. Let's be real. There's elopements might happen. Illegal weddings might happen. We might have a priest say some things because we hand him a bunch of money and it not actually have any paperwork for it. It'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. That's me. Thank you all so much for watching. This has been an absolute delight and horror tonight, and I'm so here for it.
By the way, I'm troopersjp, and I just want to say, all of you all, you do hear this. Come find me now. And it is that it is the voice of Drinax, who is not in a good way right now.
Do we all hear it?
Yes. Each one of you does, for various reasons that involve your connections that you have done and not done. And at this moment, Drinax is not.
Us, and we really have
Drinax is not feeling really well right now, considering that part of their essence is
Drinax
being
is
beaten
feeling poorly
in a room right now. So, got enough proximity to the brooch to be able to broadcast to you all that Drinax needs you right now. Come to me. And I'm Trooper SJP.
It could be anything.
Son of a gun.
Drinax needs you, but Drinax is on the surface. I'm gonna just note that. I don't know what you're all gonna do, but each one of you, because some of you actually have some of Drinax on you or in you, or are connected to people who are on you or in that. So I'm just saying, you all hear that voice of Drinax, who right now is really not doing well. Right now.
Yeah.
And they would like to talk
I had
to
one more
you.
love. It was a
Big
semen.
Give it to me.
That's all.
Is what?
A semen.
Ah, yes.
A simian,
Semen.
Nope.
I see. Yeah.
Vagina and a semen.
Yes, that's right. The professor, who was like,
As a semenite, I'm here to tell you it's a seam, and it's a
right.
semen. Is the?
Oh, that's,
that's
fair.
You're being culturally insensitive, Trooper.
I'm so sorry. You can find me on Wednesday, right, for the finale of Reading Between the Lines or Reading Between the Lines, and then back here next Friday. These are my RPGs at 7 p.m. here. I have done the thing that I need to do, and when we come back, there is a planet who is really needing to talk to you, because right now it's sort of being tortured and kind of needs to have a conversation with you. sooner rather than later, it's not doing well. It would like to have a
Putting the
conversation.
Sue in sooner rather than later.
That is correct. The Sue in sooner rather than later, and would like to see
Perfect.
you real soon. And we will see what will happen next week. And you might be like, nah, we're going to hang out. I have no idea what you're going to do. But
Do that. Let's just blow off this
Nah.
really pivotal moment.
it's
Nah.
yeah, that's it.
Let's go see what's going on over in Regina.
Later.
There's probably like a nightclub you could go to hang out at.
Yeah.
So that'll be
Yeah.
We need to play poker. It's been a while.
Yeah. I'm glad that you got to go. So that's me, and I'm gonna read those bits. That's where you can find me. And I want to just give some love. I want to say I loved that. I was very interested. What I love is that I don't know what the Harlock is thinking about Prince Harrick. I have no idea whether the Harlock is like, I'm playing you like a fiddle, or like maybe I'm moved. I don't know. It's unclear what's up with that. I'm excited. But I liked how the Harlock played it. Yes, that scene between Quint and also Terrica was amazing. And I just want to say, I want to thank Greg for giving me the present last week that allowed me to give him a present this week, right? Which is the ways in which the relationship, a bit more about the relationship between Ruby and Val. And I was a bit more about what that is like. And I would imagine in a different context, in a couple of days, we would see Val dressed nicely, being in public, right? And nobody knowing any the wiser of what he'd been through. And I imagine that was a thing that happened all the time for him. And at the moment, somebody took his place. And when Val screamed no, I feel like Val knew it, right? And that was that sort of moment that was like just amazingly impactful. It was just like I could imagine like it cinematically, right? Yeah. Val hearing Terrica on the comm saying Sue, and the computer who's not Val saying that unit is not currently installed. And then as the door opens, seeing Terrica teleport out, screaming no, right when Quint is right there, and the Harlock and Severance are on the side seeing this thing, like that moment, that convergence. I was like, oh, that's chills.
Juicy.
Yeah. And Cord. So here's the thing. I loved when you were like, nope, I'm not Marymore. Nope, I'm the Corsair. And he's like, wait, what? The ways in which you were able to
Oh, so you're a pirate. Nope, just kidding. I was joking the whole time. This is Marymore, I think.
Humor. And it's this kind of way in which you just threw him off, right? Because he's like, oh, an Imperial noble. I know you. I know somebody here. I'm not in this weird, awkward situation where I don't know any of the customs. And he's like, no, you don't know me. He's like, I surely don't. Nope. Oh, okay, wait, what? And like the ways in which you're able to just throw him off his game. And he reads. He's a little bookish sometimes. And he was just, you just kept him all off balance completely. And that was brilliant. And I loved it.
By being there. Yeah.
But also, I just loved the moment between you and the Harlock with the food, right? Like that was just. I was like, oh, y'all, you guys have a long history with each other, and I can just tell the way in which that just comes out between you two is so beautiful. I love it. And so I'm going to give you all our bits because we have. Thank you, Raiders, but we got some bits coming in to support this wonderful cast. We got 100 bits from Rissa at the very beginning, who says, "Good luck with the audio." Thank you. I just uninstalled some software and devolved. Also, it's a stream from Rissa. Thank you. Hawkeye gave us 500 bits, who says, "The Tagonists will return. Will the Harlock return? Will Ruby keep harassing Val? Yes. Will Severance keep Dad Merling? Yes.
That's right.
Will the Harlock return? Absolutely. Can Quint catch the assassin? I think maybe catch and feels might be more like it. Will Terrica take the throne? Well, that's a good question. And is it a nice day for a Drinax? It's a nice day for a Drinax wedding. Only your trooper knows for sure. It's a nice day to start again. And we got 100 bits from Stormbender, thank you, who says, to the newlyweds. Oh, so lovely. We got 1,000 bits from Bex and O's. Thank you, Bexes and O's. Thank you so much. Also, thank you for all of your comments in chat. 100 bits from Stormbitter, who says, for love and robots. I also love the comic book Love and Rockets. Just put that there in my mind. 100 from Willen, who's our sponsor, and also our note taker, who says, this Duke Hendricks looks like an interesting guy. Both he and the prince have surprised me a lot. I thought they were evil. All these things are complicated. Do you know what I mean? All these things are complicated. Everybody has a reason for doing what they're doing. People may not agree with those reasons, you know? And there's always consequences for the reasons for the things that you do. And they might be bad consequences, even if you have good intentions. Who knows? I am sure that nothing bad will come from any of these things. And then 100 bits from Bex's Nose, who says, thanks for making me feel the feels feel. You're welcome. I do try. And then our last from Stormbitter says, much love and big hugs to all for another amazing show. Thank you. Thank each and every one of you. And I believe our title comes from one of our lovely chatters, The Masks We Wear. Because each one of us. Take care, everybody. And next week, I don't know. They might see the planet. They might have a visit from the planet. I really can't say. We'll find out, I guess. Until next time, everyone, take care, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye.